What's up? What's up, everybody? As you all slowly trickle in over the next few minutes, let me say my hellos to all my friends. Number one Marvel fan who keeps beating Mr. Redjack to the audience every week now. Wow, good to see you, sir. Mr. Redjack coming in a quick second. Good to see you as well. And I hope that you are hanging out with us. And let me see. Like a number one, I'm sure you are absolutely ready for the poo-poo tonight. Awesome. Hey, Dino, what's up, brother? Good evening to you. Good evening to Jeff Wedding. What's up, man? Hopefully you're at home this time, not driving around Las Vegas. Let me know if you're going to tune in for the duration, or if you're in and out, or maybe on a rewinder again. Mr. Easy Go Lucky, my friend, what's up, sir? Good to see you as always. Good evening, CJ. Good to see you as well, my friend. And give us the straight poop. I love that. Carl, aloha to you, my friend. Good to see you. And of course, thanks for the likes. Everybody, yes, please hit like before we've even started the show. Just hit the thumbs up. Why not? Hit it as often as you can. There you go. And Ian, what is up to you with you, sir? Good to see you as always. And Jason Ladwig, straight out of Michigan. What's Compton? Who knows anything about Compton? Straight out of Michigan. Lansing's where it's at, brother. Good to see you, my friend. And hello to my lovely wife, as always, Vivian. Thank you for the support, as always, my dear. What's up, Gabe Carino? Good to see you, man. And as always, John Brown. What's up, sir? What's up? What is up? Yeah, we gotta. It's too bad you're not a scheduled guest this Caesar. I'd like to hear some info from you on the trip to the land of the rising sun. Kind of curious. What else? Anyone in the group? What about White Queen? Win that white guy? Yeah, you can talk amongst yourselves about the White Queen hembag. Allergy season has hit the desert. If you fall asleep, it's the drugs. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'll believe that. Mark, hey, good morning to you, Mark. Hey, Mark, I don't know. I guess you didn't catch my message on Nick's show on Friday. Can you email me? Just send me an email. I wanna ask you something. If you can please email me here. Email me at RubénDaCollector@gmail.com. I would appreciate that, please. And after the show, because I thought we had emailed, but if we did, somehow I can't find it in my inbox or my sent box. So, anyways, if you could please just email me there before you forget, like now, I'd appreciate it. I'll after the show, when I go off air at some point after the show, I will let you know what I need you to email me for. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Who else is here? Anybody else? Mark, Marcus. I'd rather see it in a line than in clumps. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I want to know the origin. Well, Carl, the origin. I'm sure Michael has been expecting that to happen. And believe me, I was not going to allow this opportunity to pass us by. So don't worry about that. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'll certainly bring it up, and we'll see. Michael's backstage listening and watching all this, by the way. So he knows that it's coming. Whether he will reveal or not, I don't know. Or he might even want to make us guess. I don't know. Who the heck knows, you know? What's up, a newbie? Colt Passport. Not a newbie, but, you know, I'm not a regular. There we go. Good to see you again, Colt Passport. What is up, sir? And going to be in and out as our daughter is still. Oh, okay. No worries, CJ. I appreciate you all the time. Okay, well, that's good. That's everybody for now. People will continue to trickle in as we go. So right now, let's not waste any more time. Without further ado, why don't we meet the Makipoopoo and little Makipoopoo, as I see may be a very big possibility. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to my friends, Makipoopoo and a little Makipoopoo. What's up, Michael?
Hey, Rubén.
Hey, Mika.
Hi.
Hi. Good to see you. Are you ready?
This is my better half, actually.
are you ready for me to ask you a whole bunch of questions about comic books and comic book art? Oh, excellent. Excellent. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right. Well,
this is a first, right?
What's that?
This is a first.
This is definitely a first. I'm very thrilled, actually. I'm very, very excited about it. Everybody's, I've always said everybody
more family oriented. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's for sure not
expand your client base there.
Yeah. I do want to mention because CJ says hi, Maki and little Maki. And look what Jason's saying. Keep it clean because this is usually not necessarily an all ages show. So yes, of course, I am very well aware of that, Jason. But thank you. Yes, G-rated. G-rated. Of course, G-rated. Absolutely. Hi, Makipoopoo family. So you got the warm hellos, Michael. That's very, very nice. And,
I'm humbled to be here tonight. So
you honor me. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. Actually, why don't we actually start with that? Actually, Michael, because of course I knew that somebody was going to ask about that anyways. So why not let us know of the origin of? And First of all, have we been saying it correctly? That's what I really want to know.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a term that my wife calls me.
Interesting. Okay.
And I guess a few years ago, I had hyperthyroid, right?
Okay.
So anyone who's had hyperthyroid knows your metabolism, gets really high. And so there was a point where every time after I ate something, whether it's just an apple or whatever, I would have to run to the bathroom.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So that's where the poo-poo comes from, So.
But what's the Maki part?
Well, that's kind of like my nickname.
Okay.
Like my wife calls me, and so we combined it. And
so it's
like a combination name. But,
okay.
Probably the poo-poo part is probably more interesting,
Well, I gotta say, yes, Mr. Redjack says a pet name from the wife, priceless. Wives give us many names, certainly. And thank you, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. I got to tell you, Michael, in my imagination, I was trying to figure it out, right? And I thought to myself, okay, I know he's got a young daughter. So in my head, I was like, oh, I think I figured it out. I think, as toddlers begin to speak for the first time, what comes out of their mouths, right? They can't pronounce it properly. And so it sounds funny and they say cute things. And so I thought that this was a term that came about because you and your wife, as you were trying to maybe teach her to get potty trained, right? I thought
that's another story. So
okay. Yeah, because I thought you guys might have been telling her, okay, time to make a poo-poo. And then she started saying, Makipoopoo, Makipoopoo. That's what I figured.
I wish it was that easy, but yeah.
That would have been a good one, though, right? It would have fit.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny. Okay, excellent. So there you go, guys. The origin of the name Makipoopoo. So there you go. But just wanted to know that it was Makipoopoo, not Makipoopoo.
Yeah. Hey, before I just want to say hello to Arwin and Vivian. Just
that's very
in
very
the chat.
Nice.
So
hope to see
you one day. Our families. So
for sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Vivian said here that Arwin loves the name Makipoopoo. Ever since she first saw it, she just every time she sees it, she laughs. Yeah. So that's awesome. Mr. Redjack, you don't want to hear what Miss Vivian calls Rubén. Yeah. You may know more than me, though, Mr. Redjack. It's so funny. John Stout, a new one. Oh, my gosh. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for coming in and for saying hello to everybody. We're all a friendly group, so please, you're so welcome to hang out and shoot the breeze with all of us. Just be careful what you say, only when you see little Makipoopoo hit the screen. Other than that, you should be okay. Hi, there you go. See, she's talking back to you. Hi, yes, one day, hope we will meet in person. There you go. All right. All right. Well, excellent, Michael. Why don't we start off with, like I always do, is I always just want to have everybody kind of tell us all how you kind of discovered comic books and then how you made that segue to discovering art and starting to collect artwork.
Sure. So, when I was in, I guess, middle school, I was into Transformers and GI Joes. I collected the toys, right? So at the time I had a few comics here and there, but I didn't really, it was just one or two that I had. I didn't really get into it as much as I watched the TV show, right? So but years later, my family's originally from the Philippines, right? So,
Right.
So one day we were vacationing there, and we had stopped at this U.S. military outpost, and I happened to pick up my first Savage Sword of Conan comics.
Oh.
And Punisher magazine. So that was
Those were those your first comics?
I wouldn't say that they were my very first, but they were the very first they were the first issues that I had in a long time. And I actually, Transformers and G.I. Joe, I had a few issues before that, but I wasn't really into comics. So it was really the Conan and the Punisher comics. So from there, I was blown away by the art, especially Joe Jusko and
the cover art,
and Ernie Chan. So so I got more into comics. I started reading other comics like Punisher. I got back into Transformers and G.I. Joe. The Infinity series, and other comics. So yeah, that was the those years later when I was in my teens. That's how I got into it.
Okay. Can I ask you? Do you mind telling us all what your age is?
Yeah, I'm 46.
46. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a few years, a handful of years younger than me. So I get you. Yeah, it helps to put context to when you speak about the eras and the things you were
reading. Right. So so I was reading comics for a while, and then as I got into college, I started reading less. I would read just a few issues here and there, but it started to get much less. And by the time I graduated college, I rarely picked up a comic issue. So and then I started. I was studying. I was focusing on my career, right? So
at what point? When do you graduate, and when do you get to start your career? Was it like, I guess that's late 90s?
So that was in 90. I graduated in 97, right?
97, okay.
So then by 98, I was really busy with. I took the CFA, and then and then after that I went to business school. So. Yeah, I didn't really have a lot of time to read comics anymore. I was really just focused on that, and then and after I finished business school, I moved to New York from Boston, right? Because I went to my undergrad. I went to Babson, and then from my business school, I went to BU. So
Oh, okay.
And then I went to New York, and and even if even then, until I moved to New York, I wasn't making a lot of money, right? Because all the money I would save, I had spent it on school, and so, but I was so, and then when I was in New York, I started. I moved there in June, and then I met my wife in around November, and then we started dating, and then, she lived in the Upper West Side, right? So, I would go, hang out with her on the weekends, and there used to be a Barnes and Noble in near Columbus, Circle, and so I'd go to Barnes and Noble, one of my favorite stores.
Yeah.
At the time, and they would have issues, and I would go to the magazine section, and they would have issues of what do you call it, Toy Fair or Toy Mart, right? These toy magazines. So, so I would like look at toys, and I said, "Hey, I used to own this." So I started collecting toys after that, in '97, because I was reading these magazines, and then I had a little bit of spending money, so I started collecting toys, and then and so that's how my collecting habits really started, and I picked up a lot of vintage toys. They're really expensive now, but they were like new and packaged, graded, so.
Yeah, mint in box, isn't that what they call it?
Mint in box, or mint in sealed box, right?
Or whatever,
so, yeah. So I collected Transformers, GI Joe, Star Wars, so all kinds, and but I built such a big collection, over 100 graded pieces and like play sets and everything, that I was running out of space in my apartment at home. And one of my friends who I met through collecting toys, we started going to comic conventions, right? And then I'd pick up more toys, and then but one day he suggested, "Oh, you should start collecting comic book art."
Really?
So,
but hold on, Michael, because at that point when you're collecting toys, I'm assuming you're not really also collecting the comics. Right? You're just.
I started collecting comics too on the side, so I would pick up, my friend was into, the X-Men and so, Fantastic Four or something,
right.
Spider-Man. So I in the beginning, we started going to comic conventions, and I would pick up toys. I would also pick up like comics, like rare comics, right? So this was before comic art, right? But so I did that for a few years, and then after a while, I started running out of space, and so my friend suggested, why don't you collect comic book art, So which I had really didn't have a lot of clue, other than the fact that it seemed a bit odd to me, because number one, they were very expensive, and number two, they were kind of black and white. So why would I want a black and white piece?
Yeah, but hold on. You should have been used to that because you liked Savage Sword of Conan and the Punisher magazines, which are black and white.
Yeah. So, but I focused on the issues that I collected. So these were specific, comics, specific issues. My first criteria was the issues that I read, So those were the first pieces that I collected, and so it started off from there. But I at the time I was still collecting toys, so I was really more a casual collector, and sometimes it would be really difficult to find the pieces that you want. So so I found CAF online through Google, and then one of the first pieces that I bought too was from Kirk Dilbeck, right? So,
okay.
So I really owe him a lot. And if Kirk's, if you're tuning in, I want to say hello. So
Shout out, Kurt.
So he sold me Tom Rainey splash title page, right? So that was one of my first positive experiences through CAF, right? And from time to time, I just check CAF out, and I know they had some collector owned the Punisher magazine cover, right? So, and so I really wanted it, but at the time I wasn't too serious into art collecting. So, it wasn't until like a few years later where I saw it for sale at in Mike Berkey's website, right, at Romita Man. So, and at the time, it was fortunate because my boss at work, Alliance Bernstein, he had retired, and so now I'd taken over his spot, and so I was actually making a lot more money. So now I had the financial
wherewithal
to acquire it. So it was a matter of being at the right place at the right time, and so after I bought that piece, I decided, oh, it wasn't so hard. So I started getting more into it, and it just spiraled out of there. And then that's when I think I saw you and Gear and Khalid and ML and I forget your names.
All those guys.
The other people who joined. Oh, I think James, right? So you were in CAF in one of those. This was during the pandemic, and I saw you in one of the podcasts. So, and I think one of their suggestions that you had was to share your collection in CAF. Because back then I'd buy something, I just keep it. I wouldn't show it to anybody. So So I think the suggestion was, if you shared it, people are more likely to, sell you pieces or give you leads. And so I thought that was very useful. So that's when I started posting my my pieces. And, I have this weird habit where I get up really early in the morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning every morning, and I'd post something like an art piece, and Marcus Y would be the first person to comment. So
it's just so you know, it's Marcus Way.
Yeah,
that's the way. You like it.
Yeah. So again, I want to say hi to Marcus, but I was
he's in the crowd telling you to show us the art.
I know he's on the West Coast, but I was thinking, man, what time does he wake up or sleep? So but so that was really the start of it, and it just spiraled out from there. So.
Okay. Remind me though, your very, very, very first piece was which one?
So before I started buying art, I actually, found Andrew Wildman's website, So this was in 2000. Andrew Wildman.
Yeah, the artist. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had I guess he had a website, and he posted on his website, he did commissions and other things. So I actually contacted him, and I actually asked him to do my first commission. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and he's my favorite artist, and I've had a long relationship with him, and I was very fortunate to have met him last year when I was in Toronto. So he did my first commission, and in the beginning he would do commissions for me, and then he would sell me other pieces, and then but I didn't start buying my first published art until 2014, right? And my first piece was the Savage Sword Conan. It was like interior page.
Oh, okay.
And I bought it from Anthony Schneider, right? So
Okay.
So again, back then, what's interesting is that, when I first saw him, he's a big guy, and I was a little intimidated, right? Because it's like I'm like a nobody, and
Don't say that. You're not a nobody.
So-
He's a nobody.
So, but I didn't really. I mean, I would buy from him a lot over the years,
Right.
but it wasn't until like he started doing dueling dealers where I really, interacted with him, and then to the point because I had a weird name, right? So when I see him now in person at the convention, right, we know each other, and it's nice to have a nice chat with him, and along with everyone else, like I met Kavi and ML and Mikhail.
Right.
So it's nice to get to know people more on a personal basis, and right now I'm very jealous when I see people post on Facebook about their meetings, but so I'm hoping once Mika is old enough, then I can kind of spend more time hanging out with other people, collecting art.
Yeah. Absolutely. I get it. Comic Art Boston says hello. He's apologizing for missing your daughter.
Yeah, I love Comic Art Boston, because I lived in Boston for so many years, and I'm a Pats fan and a Red Sox fan. So, but yeah, so
there you go. But that makes sense. Yeah. So would you say that up until now that that Anthony might be the guy who you've bought most art from?
I would say it was probably because ever since I've started buying from Mike Berkey, I bought a lot from him too. So
okay.
I think between them two, they probably I probably purchased. I mean, to be honest, no, I correct myself. I think I bought the most pieces from Andrew Wildman directly.
Oh wow, you bought that much from him? Wow.
Yeah. So I would say he's probably. But they're all Transformers, So
yeah, well, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the reason you buy from him is because he does the comics that you like, or he drew a lot of comics that you like. There she is, Comic Art Boston. There you go. Hi, Mika.
Mika, say hi to Comic Art Boston. Comic Art Boston.
Comic Art
Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
There you go. You see Comic Art Boston? There you go. She came back just for you. There you go, just because you were asking. Hey, David, good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
All the way down in Oz, baby. And look at that. Look at that. Look, Mika.
Yeah.
Mika, look at the screen. There's a little message there from Comic Art Boston. It says, wow, she is so very cute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, she knows it. Oh yeah, that's old
Yeah,
news.
I hang some of my art in her room. So.
You hang your art in some of your art in her room?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the kitty stuff. Yeah, the Garfields.
Okay, but is that original art that you bought for her?
Yeah, the original art.
Oh hi.
I got it through Heritage. So.
Okay, I got you. David Barr from Australia says hello to you, my friend.
Hi.
And
good eye.
Poppy.
Yeah.
What's this? What's this, Poppy?
Oh, I don't know. What is that?
Look, Comic Art Boston makes another comment. Michael, that is your true treasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like me, my holy grail, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
The one and only. You know it.
That's awesome. So would you like, let me see, it's 8:30. Perfect timing.
Yeah, before Stanley comments in, I don't want to disappoint him. So.
Oh no. We always want Stanley to come in and say his stuff.
Hi, Stanley.
Yeah.
Stanley, I don't think Stanley's watching right now. He would have said something by now. But yeah, he'll probably come in later and say something, But yes, absolutely, Comic Art Boston. They grew up very. That's what I was telling him earlier before we started the show backstage that that it goes so fast. So it's like treasure these moments, basically. You know. Absolutely.
She said hi to Arwen, actually.
Oh, hi. Arwen says hello back to you. Yeah, I got my door closed, so I got to scream that for them all to hear. You know. Oh my God, Polly P's in the house. Saying hello to my wife, but not to me. What's going on there? Not even saying hello to my guest. Paul, what's happening? Good to see you, Paul. I haven't seen you in so long here. Very nice to see you. Stanley will come at the end of the show to try to prolong it. Yes, we know that. Yeah, exactly, Marcus. Yeah, he comes in at around 10 and that's it. You said hi. Oh, all right. Yanking your chain. Relax, buddy. I'm happy to see you. I'm shocked that you're here, so I'm happy to see you. There you go. There's Arwen with her late hello. So you can tell me because she said hello a little bit late. That's it. So funny. So yeah. You wanna start taking a look at some of the art that
Sure.
Awesome. All right, everybody, because this is not a hangout episode. It is a show and tell. Got quite a bit of art to show. So why don't we get into that? And and then you can tell me a little bit about all the things that, by the way, again, once again, everybody, want you all to know that in order to help get the episode produced quicker, more efficiently, I am the one who, once again, picked the artwork. So, and Makipoopoo does not know what I picked. He didn't ask me to show him, and so he doesn't know what I'm going to be showing tonight. So it'll be a bit of a surprise for him, as it is for all you guys. All right, so why don't we start with the first one? And this one, I figured this would be fun because, well, you'll see in a second, Michael. Here we go.
Mika, that's your hook. What's that?
Pain.
What's that?
Vampire.
Yeah. Is that scary?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she has a lot of vampire nightmares. And I feel sort of responsible for it. So
wow, I would think somebody's got to be responsible. I don't think she would find herself the vampires on her own. So but tell me about this piece and the whole choose your own adventure thing that you're.
Yeah, so I used to read Choose Your Own Adventure as a kid. And I really loved the books. In fact, I got into that series before I got into comics. And so, after I started collecting art, I thought about choosing an adventure because it's such a, huge part of my childhood, right? I actually reached out to a few of the artists, most of them didn't have them anymore. But Dave Mattingly, actually, he lives in Hoboken.
Okay.
Actually, just a few miles from me. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I contacted him, and I was fortunate enough to pick up some art from him, and he was a really nice guy, really cool. I bought it during the pandemic, so
okay.
I love the art. I love Dave Mattingly.
Tell Comic Art Boston who's asking, because he's got to leave. And he might be back later. He wanted to let you know that he has to leave, but just wants to know roughly how many years you were collecting.
So my first commission was in 2011, right? So
so about 12
years. And then I bought my first published piece maybe 3 years later.
Yeah, okay.
But I didn't really start getting into it until 2020 or something, 20, around that time. So
that's when you really started getting into it, during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's when I decided, I'm gonna, splurge a little more.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Mikhail.
So, hey, Mikhail, how are you?
And here we get a couple more. Dracula trying to flag down an Uber. That's a good one. He does look like he's trying to flag it down. And the Rick says that he loved the Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid as well. Yeah, that's a good one. Those guys didn't pay, dined and ditched. These are good ones. Choose Your Own Adventure is the best, Mikhail says. So we got a lot of Choose Your Own Adventure fans.
I didn't know. I mean, on CAF, there's only a few of them floating around. So which I'm lucky because, people were into it. It'd be a lot more expensive.
Well, listen, you got it to be happy, and that's it. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, look at Colt Passport. Never had even thought about a Choose Your Own Adventure cover being a thing that you could get. So that's cool. So you're introducing new collectors to other different things I never even thought about. So
yeah, for
exciting.
me, because these things are they're so expensive, especially these days. So, for me, I need to have like an emotional connection, right? Whether it's to the series or the art or the artist, I need to have a connection. In fact, I've never sold a piece, right? So once I buy something, right, I envision hanging on to it, until I'm forever. So
Forever, basically, right?
Yeah. But that being said, I am selective, right? And I think it's also, when you have a little bit of discipline, because, your resources are finite. So, it helps to be disciplined. And so when you find a piece that you really, really want, then you can go for it. Right. So, so that's the approach that I take. So,
sure. Comic Art Boston just wants to thank you for telling him how long you've been collecting. He says, for the period that you've been collecting, you have a truly fantastic and representative collection.
Yeah, and again, there's some pieces where maybe it won't really attract a lot of attention, and I'm fine with it, because I really love that piece, even though it's not one of the more mainstream stuff. So
yeah, for sure. He says he also noticed that you have a few vintage pieces sprinkled in as well. And who knows, we may see some more vintage pieces tonight.
Right.
He also says that he doesn't think that he would have done as well as you had he started collecting today. But so high compliments. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. But wanted to jump in. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll give you your plug a little bit later. And Colt Passport says that the Choose Your Own Adventure books were great as a kid because you could read through them quickly. Except that wouldn't you always go back and because you wanted to try, at least me, I wanted to try every single possibility, right?
Yeah, I still read them, to be honest. Like Friday nights when I'm watching Nick Barucci, I have a Choose Your Own Adventure book in my hand and I'm watching it on my iPad. So it's a great. I still watch them. I still read them to this day. So.
Oh, that's fantastic! And my God, the compliments from Comic Art Boston don't stop. And you are such a nice person as well. Cool of Rubén to get you on the show. Well, there you go. I'm happy to get to finally introduce Makipoopoo to everybody. Other than the few guys who had been fortunate enough to already meet him at a convention, So very, very happy to have him on for sure. So that's excellent, man. I actually, it's funny because I figured that there would be people in the that's make up the live chat crew who would say, oh, I read those when I was a kid too, or whatever. But there's quite a few more than I expected, and Caesar's popped in earlier and I popped up his his comment, he was saying that he used to read the choose your own adventure GI Joe ones, you know, which is interesting because I read them too, but I was strictly superhero, so I got myself like a Wolverine one,
Yeah. There were several series, right? Like knockoffs or whatever, or spin-offs, whatever. But I wasn't into the main series, you know.
Yeah. No, I get that. Oh, what's up, Stanley? Stanley, you came in late. That's okay. We love you, man. Okay, he's throwing out the question: do you prefer interior pages or covers?
I prefer both. You know.
Okay. No preference then.
Yeah, you know, I don't discriminate against any art.
Yeah.
You know, but again, there's I can do a Dino thing where, you can do a Venn diagram, right? So
Venn diagram, yes.
Yeah, so you have to, so there's 3 circles, right? If you envision them, and I actually took this from, I think, I read a book on this by, I think, Greg McKeon, but it's essentially you gotta, when you buy something, you gotta buy the right thing for the right reason at the right time, right? So if you see something and all those 3 circumstances happen to be then that's the right piece for you. So
sure. That being said, I will admit that I assuredly purchased artwork for the wrong reasons at the wrong times, for wrong reasons at the right times, for right reasons at the wrong times. I mean, I've done it all, I think a lot of us have.
It's hard, you can get really caught up with that, but I try to be disciplined about it. So
yeah,
but I do love interior pages and covers. I mean, lately, when I first started, I bought more interior pages, but over the last couple of years, I started focusing more on covers, and it's hard to find the art piece that you want. So it's hard to predict what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Mr. Red Jack, you never read any of the Choose Your Own Adventures. You were busy reading Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Well. Excuse us. You were more of an adult than we were, I guess. Or the Hardy Boys Adventures. I did read those. How about the Bobbsey Twins? Do you guys remember that? Is that just like a Canadian?
Yeah, I read the Hardy Boys too, and a few Nancy Drew books. And I remember I had asked you a question in one of your shows, and I said about the Hardy Boys or something, and you said, yeah, Rudy Nappy was the artist, but his stuff is so rare these days, so
it is. He passed away a few years ago at the age of, I think, 92 or 93, so he had a good long life, but he had already parted with all that stuff that everybody wanted, including the GI Joe. He was the guy who did all the GI Joe packaging art.
Right.
Yeah. So all the boxes and the cardboard backings, the action figures.
I actually signed up for this Kickstarter. I think the people who created GI Joe, I think they banded together to create a new line of toys, and I signed up for the art piece, right? So that's gonna go into the packaging. So yeah. So hopefully it'll come in second half of this year. Who knows?
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
But I'm into nostalgia, right?
For sure. No, that's pretty cool. And so that but when is the toy going to be available?
Yeah, probably around the second half.
Oh, same thing. Okay.
Yeah. So
I see. Okay. Oh no, that's very cool, man. Yeah, so Neil says that he loved the old Goosebumps art covers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are collectible too for anybody who would have read those. I didn't. I was already too old. But Twilight Dark Forces, young adult horror covers in the day. I'm not familiar with those, but maybe that was regional. Not sure. You mean Twilight, like the Twilight series? Yeah, I guess you're probably talking about the Twilight series that was turned into movies, whatever afterwards. Young adult horror covers. Yeah, interesting. It's funny, Comic Art Boston. You keep saying goodbye that you're leaving, and you keep asking questions or making comments. Just buy what you love if you can afford it. That is true. That's
essentially what I do. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think he nailed it. More just, you know.
Yeah, you can't stress about it like too much, right? And if you can afford it,
Yeah.
as long as you're not putting your family in dire straits, financial straits,
Exactly.
You know, if it's speaks to you, grab it. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. The nice thing I've always said about this hobby is like, even when you think like, oh, I don't know, shouldn't I, whatever. The nice thing is that it's such an established hobby now that you could stretch for something. Let's say that if you're not sure you should, you can grab it and then get it. See how you feel once you have it, right? Keep it for a little bit and then sell it if you feel like, nah, I probably shouldn't have taken this. You can find somebody else.
I do what you suggested, you know, which is before you buy it, save a picture in your in one of your photo albums, you know.
Yeah.
And then see if you really like it, and then
yeah.
You know, and that's what I did. I did that for some of my pieces, and then after a while, I said, "Okay, it's the right time to buy it." So, so I did make the purchase. But I mean, I did that test.
Yeah, for sure. Dino has a little here. I'm going to pop a little message he gives to you on the screen. There you go.
Dino.
Your fellow Pinoy. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, he's such a legend, right? I every time I look at the stuff that he posts, I mean, I'm like, wow, you know.
Yeah. He's always buying. He's always buying the stuff everybody else wants, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like a big brother, you know.
There you go. There you go, big bro. What else do we got here? Paul, you keep using the word discipline. I am unfamiliar with this word. Very true. There's a lot of us are find it's true. Like a lot of collectors find it incredibly difficult. That is one of the toughest things, is to be disciplined, right?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's hard. Yeah, no, I mean, but fortunately at work, I worked with a lot of really smart people and amazing people, and so I've learned from them, and so they teach you a few tricks here and there, and I'm just fortunate, and I've met a lot of really nice people as well, and not just at work, but being exposed to you guys, learning the tricks of the trade, right? So, you try to pick up good, the lessons that you can learn from other people, right? So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's what I always say. It's like, you go brand new if you're a new person into any hobby, really. I mean, take advice or at least listen to advice. You can do with it what you want afterwards, but of course, listen to it. Be open and keep an open mind to
exactly
to hearing what more veteran people have to say through their experiences, right? And sort of leave out what you don't agree with, and hold on to the stuff that you do agree with, and put it into practice yourself. I think that's certainly the best way to get into sort of a hobby when you first step into it.
Right.
You got to learn somewhere. You might as well sort of use the help of people who are willing to give it to you, right? If you find them.
Yeah, and I think part of it too, especially when you have kids, is they're the priority, right? Your family's priority. Art is like a first world problem. If you don't get the art you want, it's not the end of the world. So you want to make sure that you first save enough for them. This is just a hobby for me. So
sure.
I don't look at it as an investment at all. It's more just a hobby for me, But having said that,
Well, you're not unaware that there's a lot of money tied up into your hobby.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, but
so you just got to be cognizant of that, and that's all, right? And like I said earlier, as long as you're not putting your family in financial dire straits, right? Like that's it, right?
Yeah, and Mika will probably inherit all of this when I'm done.
Yeah. Hey, so Nicky B's telling us that Dynamite released The Art of Goosebumps. Well, there you go, Neil. Neil, you got to pick that up. First of all, if you were a fan of that, then you should definitely be picking up that book. And I would say pick up the book just because it might give you hints or tips as to who the artists are and where you could maybe start seeking out those artists. You might be able to track down Goosebumps covers now. So there you go. Just my tip. You're welcome, Neil. Just for you, my friend. And speaking of Nick, everybody, please, as a reminder, just want to say that those of you who don't already know, you should tune in to Nick's show, The Original Art Experience, on youtube.com/theexp. Let me actually pop that up for you because I have that here. Here we go, everyone. youtube.com/theexp. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Here's Nicky B's lovely face. And Amy in the back, hidden as always. Good fun show. Great way to end the work week on a Friday evening. And it is a mix, his own blend of sales show, art sales, with chat show. So it's a chat/sales show, and it's a lot of fun. So tune in if you can, everybody.
Yeah, I love Nick's show on Friday nights.
There you go. What better? Listen, what better a testimonial, Nick? Do you need than not only the host but the guest saying the same thing? That you see, there you go. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
It's a good way to decompress after a long week. That's for sure.
Great way to put it. Exactly, because it's it's right at the end of the week, so it's perfectly timed to okay. I need to stop thinking about work, and I got to, let me put my mind in something else, kind of thing, And so that's it's amazing. And so hopefully, Nick, you heard that. I don't see you commenting. You're probably going in and out, but there you go. You got a good testimonial from Makipoopoo, the one and only Makipoopoo. So I hope you appreciate that. All right, let us get on to the next piece, because actually we're going to stick with the same theme. I thought it would be fun. Just because I thought they were fun. I was like, okay, let me show another one here. Let's do this one, everybody. Oh, and hold on, before I do that, let me get this off the screen. And yeah, here, let's show this beauty. This one was my favorite, just in case you're wondering, Michael. This one is my favorite. Check this one out. Love it, love it. Oh man, I love it because, of course, it's a Frank Frazetta homage.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware, right?
The funny thing is, if you look at the vampires, they all look alike. I think I have 3 covers, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think that's Dave Mattingly, as a vampire. Those are
really? Okay.
Yeah, his own portrait, when he was younger, back in the day. So.
Oh, interesting. You're assuming though, just because of what he looks like?
Yeah, I assumed because when I met him, I said, "Oh my God, he looks exactly like the vampire in the covers."
Yeah.
So I honestly think it is his portraits. But having said that, I really love them all. So
yeah. Does one or the other, do you have one that sticks above the other two, or are you pretty?
Well, this one is probably my favorite one out of
this one for you as well. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I picked correctly then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like with any art of mine or even vintage toys, I still like pinch myself, because I feel like I'm not even worthy of owning these pieces. It's like back in the day, I was like a kid. I was nobody, and then who would have predicted that I would one day own the actual art, right? So
Yeah.
it's just amazing, the opportunity, right, that you get, and
Yeah, yeah, and a couple of guys are bringing up the fact that there's a blazing. Is that a blazing sun? Because he should be burnt by now. He should be burnt
yeah,
to a
it
crisp.
is. Yeah, that is the sun, I believe.
Or you know what, guys? I think it's very possible that it's just the color of another planet. That's the next planet over.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. It could be one of those.
I mean, that's the best way to explain away the fact that he's not burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
But like Paul says, this one is a hardy space vampire. So maybe they don't go by the same principles as earthly vampires.
Right.
That
Right.
is so funny. He's a space vampire.
Marcus would probably know.
Say that again, Michael.
Marcus would probably know.
Marcus would probably know.
He's an expert.
Well, here he is. He's telling us that the moon is made of cheddar. It's a moon made of cheddar. There you
Then
go.
it is made of cheddar. Then.
That's awesome. And look at that. Stanley's giving you a compliment. He loves your humble personality.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stanley. That's very nice of you. It's not. It's nice. It's nice, Stanley, to get a nice compliment rather than a demand that we keep the show going for 16 more hours. But you're always appreciated. Love it. Thank you. And you know what, guys? Only because back in the days, I love to stretch doubles into triples. When I played baseball, there's nothing more exciting than knowing you're going to get a double out of a single, but then realizing, oh shit, I can stretch it into a triple. So let's go for the trifecta, baby, and make it 3 in a row. There we go.
So this was a book that I read. I mean, this was like one of the later books, and I actually forgot that I had read the book. And when I went to Dave Mattingly, at first I asked him, I was really intending to buy only 2 pieces because I wasn't aware of this piece. So,
Right.
But then he said, why don't you purchase this one too? So I think he probably wanted to keep them all complete. So
Yeah.
I bought this one as well, but not intentionally at first. So
Okay.
but yeah, no, it's a pretty nice one as well. So.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's fun. It's kind of kooky. This time we know that orange ball outside is a sun because he's shying away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
He seems to be in a little bit of pain, I think we can say. So there you go. Excellent. I thought we would start off with all 3 of them. I couldn't just show one. I thought that would be fun and a nice fun way, knowing actually, because I've had read in the descriptions, knowing that was, those things came well before comic books. I thought that you would appreciate at least starting off with the art from those books before we do any comic art, So with that being said, everybody, now we get into comic book art. And why don't we hit the first piece right away? And with that, we're going to hit, I decided we're going to hit this very contemporary piece. Here we go. A character that a lot of people love these days. And it's the Eternal comic, Thanos, by Peach Momoko.
Yeah, so again, I was at the right time, at the right place. I was very fortunate to pick this one from Peach Momoko herself. I mean, it's this just came out a few years ago, so it's not like I read it back in the day, but it hits. I mean, in the description that I write, it hits, the nerve in several places, right? Number one, when I was in college, I actually spent the summer in Japan, so.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I definitely wanted the, few pieces, done by a Japanese artist, and Peach Momoko is like one of the best. So I was very fortunate there. But again, it's actually, it's actually even more beautiful framed, So when you see it in person, I mean, and that's the beauty of art, right? And one reason I love colored pieces, right? Because when you frame it and you put it on your wall, it really enhances the the experience, right? And
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and so and so, well, if people are out there to want to get a piece framed, the advice that I would give them is don't go cheap on the frame, because it really can really make it feel special.
Thank you.
Invest a little bit more, right?
Thank you, Michael. A man after my own heart. I don't purposely try to spend more, but I do get my stuff framed. I get it at a private, single store framer.
Right.
The gentleman, he's become my friend. He's a master framer, a former art dealer in contemporary fine art. And whatever. So he knows what he's doing, and he knows, we work together. I can spend 3 hours there, working together to try to pick the best choices of the elements that will go into it. And it's just a nice experience, and it's worth the money for me,
Yeah, it's worth every penny and more, I would say,
Yeah. A lot of cool comments on the Momoko peach piece, because peaches, fresh peaches are hard to beat. Icons for peaches. Mario and Luigi. Carl says, beautiful. Mr. Red Jack, the frame enhances the piece if done properly. Well, yes, if done, that's the key, if done properly. And let's not get into that's a whole other conversation, which we've done before in the past. So there we go, everybody. That's a very cool first comic book art piece to start with. And from there, kind of an interesting, coincidental, but
I mean, I live in the New York metropolitan area, so so I was, I'm lucky that we have the New York Comic Convention around every year, and last year I was, Peach Momoko came to New York, and she was so nice, I can't even. I mean, she was the highlight of the con. Well, actually, meeting Kavi, maybe.
I was gonna say, come on, meeting Kavi and Mikhail and all those guys.
But no, Peach was definitely she's so humble and polite, and also with her husband, right? Yeah, So.
I'm curious. Does she speak any English, or does he translate, or somebody translate, or how does that work?
Yeah, so she speaks only Japanese. So
okay.
Well, I think she understands, but her husband speaks for her.
Oh, I see. Okay, so he's the translator essentially. Okay, cool, very cool. And by the way, I wanted to ask you. So that piece, the Eternals cover, did you get it at that con from her?
Oh no, I bought it directly
beforehand.
Through her face. I'm not sure, some social media.
Online, whatever. Bottom line is online.
I emailed her actually. So
okay. Yeah, and when you met her in person, that was after you had purchased this cover.
Yeah, it was. It was after.
Okay, and did you bring it to her at the con?
No, I mean,
It was already framed, I guess, by then.
yeah,
Anyway.
it was, and it's so hectic, and
Yeah.
I mean, the line to her table was insane, and
Oh, really? Wow.
people were getting to fights.
Fights?
Yeah,
What?
I mean,
Are you
she's
serious?
probably the hottest artist alive today, in terms of popularity by the number of people, waiting in line. I would say she's probably, I don't know, she's really talented. So
Yeah. Well, I know she's popular, but my God, fights about what? Like I was in front of you, you were in front of me, that kind of thing.
yeah, fortunately, there's to get a signed comic book, right? You need to wait in line. There's this. Fortunately, if you're an art collector, you can skip the line.
Right.
Right, but a lot of the people fighting were people wanting to get their comic books signed by her. So,
Okay.
or getting a commission or whatever. I'm not sure, but
Okay. Marcus is telling us that her husband he essentially acts as her manager.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's understandable given that the language barrier. She needs somebody, right? So that's perfect. Was that the con where Peach got swamped? Well, doesn't she? If she gets swamped at that con, wouldn't she get swamped at pretty much any con because she's so popular right now?
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the one, and but she was so nice about it. So
Oh, TJ, look, TJ says, "Oh wow, I remember the fights. Like people were arguing, not fighting, right? Like arguing is what you mean, like verbally fighting, not physically fighting."
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's verbal, but enough that she it freaked her out. Actually,
Enough that she what?
it freaked her out.
It freaked her out, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a shame. Honestly, like for full grown men, mostly men, right? For full grown men to be acting essentially like it's like that whole thing about comics are ingrained in us from childhood, and somehow that always keeps us as children in certain ways, and sometimes those behaviors come out in those kinds of instances.
Yeah, well, you know what it is that for some people it's become a business, right?
Sure, but that doesn't mean you gotta, you can
yeah, exactly,
properly, right? Like
yeah.
Still, be an adult and just man, just behave. It's a convention, and you're not children, so
yeah, and I mean that's with any hobby, it's a hobby, It's nothing
TJ claims that the crowd control was a serious issue and that punches were thrown. Wow. That's sad. It's so sad to hear that. Like I wouldn't want to be anywhere near there if that's happening. Like it's what are you here for? What do you know what I mean? Like it's like online arguments, right? Online arguments. Back in the day, I got involved in my fair share, but it's like you learn from your mistakes and whatever. Like you eventually realize, life is too short. The hobby's supposed to be a getaway from the stressful parts of our everyday life. You don't want to enter and get into arguments online or fist fights in the convention hall. That's insane. Come on.
Yeah, it's a sad thing, but
yeah. So anyways, let's just hope things sort of, the people involved with that hopefully learn a lesson and just don't ever do that again. That's kind of crazy, Yeah, there was shoving, if not punches. Yeah, that's just whatever. None of that. Nothing should be nothing. Listen, there shouldn't be any verbal stuff. Going back and forth. I mean, unless somebody blatantly, I'm going to skip the line and he cuts in. I can see you want to, you got to tell those people off in a certain way. Like, hey, get to the back, or there's going to be a problem. You know what I mean? You can't let that. Happen. You can't let that happen either. I get that, right?
Right. And they probably look at you weird as well. It's like, why? Maybe she's thinking, why are they getting so like?
Yeah, right. I can see
off,
freaked out, And then Marcus is right. They probably wanted to be the first to list it on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the sad part. That's probably true, But Kyle says she was doing 23 things, so day 2 and 3, a lot of dealer badges were in the line, and that precipitated the unrest. Okay, I see that. Yeah, I get that. That's why I always say, the super popular artists, man, just one or two items and move it along. 1 or 2 items, move it along. Just keep going. Like, 5 to 10, yeah, whatever. Pick your one favorite thing of the collection and that. One sig, get out, go next, It's sad. This is why Anthony needs to keep me at SDCC so I can aid his extra security. Okay. Your CC lines are a pain. They cross all over the lanes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that doesn't make it easy either. Turned me off from following a YouTube channel who took no responsibility for adding to the violence. A YouTube channel was how do you blame a YouTube channel for being responsible for adding to the violence, Carl? I'm interested in that. I'd like to know what you mean if you have details.
Well, maybe the organizers were from a YouTube channel. I'm not sure, but
well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Nick says, yeah, it feels bad for Peach because, she cares and doesn't charge for the signature. Exactly. But that's the thing. Artists need to know when they're popular. It's nice to say, oh, it's free. Yes, but you also need to say 1 or 2 per person. Move along after that. That's it. That's, because guess what? Make it 1. You know why? Because if you have more than 1, right, and you are somebody who's doing it because, you want to sell them after or whatever, okay. At least with 1 at a time, the line, you can move it quickly. And then, hey, if you want another one, get to the back of the line for your second one. Because guess what? It's going to move pretty quickly anyways at one per customer, right? Just keep getting to the back of the line. Then it's fair, right? If you're willing to wait that way, I think that's fair. 1 per person, move it along. That's it. That's what I always say, Yeah, so... unfortunately, yeah, exactly, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem, is she didn't limit the things. The artists need to learn to do that, and that's it, They needed that power up mushroom. They should have instituted a numbered ticketing system. Well, yeah, some kind of system, like I said. Numbered tickets, though, I mean, that's more trouble for you, the artist and the artist's manager.
I don't, most artists are not going to get a ridiculous line unless you're Neil Adams or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that many, right?
Or Jim Lee or something, But Peach is just insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Good night, honey. Yeah, I mean, like Ian says, I was in a line with guys with over 100 things for signatures. Long lines. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but I can't even want to get into it. Whatever. I've said what I have to say and how I feel, and that's that. Been to many NYCCs, seen lots of crazy stuff, so many exclusive lines. I've seen fights, and most times with to many dealers and lines first. Yeah.
I mean, if I see a line at the convention, I usually just skip it. I just don't have the patience.
Yeah. Oh no, me too. I'm not a line waiter.
Even because when I go to these conventions, like for example, I like to go to the Hallmark, because I get Christmas ornaments, right? And they have these special ones. But if the line's too long, I say screw it. I'm just gonna pay eBay prices or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Even if I'm there already,
Exactly. If you need it, get it on the aftermarket.
It's not worth my time.
Right. Your time is valuable. Exactly. That's always been my thing. My time's valuable. That's it. I'm not waiting in line for anything. So, yeah. Thank you, Carl, for the added information. I appreciate that. Yeah. Whatever. Hopefully it changes. I'm sure it probably won't. There's always going to be those kinds of people that do that. And Marcus, Stanley's loving it. Unless he left, he probably stepped out. Rest at the wrong time as usual. But yeah. Number one Marvel fan says that at every Star Wars celebration that he's been to, he always sees fights in line. That's crazy, man. Kind of makes me happy. I don't really go to cons anymore, I just moved along elsewhere. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the only place to meet artists these days, right?
I get it. But I guess I'm good. I've met enough artists over the course of my life that I'm good. Like if I don't meet another one, I'm fine. I'm happy just trying to, this is my convention for now. Every Sunday night hang out with the guys and occasional gal who steps in, and you guys make it a lot of fun, and that's a fun get together for me. For me, it's more like I'm at that stage of my collecting. I've said this before. I'm more about like the socializing, anyways. It's about socializing with friends in the hobby. That's really more my jam than even like searching for the next piece kind of thing. So I'm happy with the online thing, and I'm glad I don't have to deal with all that crazy convention crap. All right, so why don't we get into another piece? You ready for the next one, Michael?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. And so the next one, for that, we're going to go to what I call a peekaboo piece. It's a peekaboo cover. I love this because it's a cool, it's so cool. Check this out, everybody. By Jorge Fornes.
Yeah.
That is so funny, man. That is so cool. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Very recent. So you obviously got it recently.
Yeah, look, I just love the cover, right?
Yeah.
So and I read Ghost Rider back in the 90s. So and in general, there are not a lot of Ghost Rider covers available, right? So this was like one of the few covers that was available when I wanted to buy one. So and it's a good one, right? So, but again, I can't say enough about Jorge, right? He's just amazing, right? So
yeah, no, it's
I think he did a series of these like what do you call these? These covers, right? I think Spider-Man is another one, and Daredevil, but I think this is his best one, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, it's cool. I haven't seen the others, but this. I loved it. I just loved it, man. I loved the whole thing. It's like he's at home, being Ghost Rider at home, and let me peek through the blinds and see what's happening outside.
Yeah, and this is the first one that he did. After Batman, I think. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Hey, John Stout, just want to thank you again for not only coming in and being active. Let me know how you found out about my show, if you don't mind. I'm curious. I always like to know when the newer people start appearing. Hopefully you come back, and if you enjoyed your time here, please consider subscribing as well. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, this is I don't know. It's just fun. I like it. I like pieces of art that represent the fun. When they bring the fun, I'm all about the fun. And this is all fun, right? So,
and it's so simple when you think about it, right?
Of course, exactly. That's my point, right? It's so simplistic, but it's amazing. It's amazing in its simplicity, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, peekaboo from the Makipoopoo. Jeepers Creepers. Oh my God! By the way, Marcus, I just saw Jeepers Creepers Part 2 for the first time ever last week because Arwen is getting into horror movies, so she wanted to watch it. And I have to say, I don't know if you've watched it yourself, but just wanted to say how utter absolute crap that movie was. I like the first one.
Who I love? I love John Carpenter.
But that wasn't a Carpenter flick, was it?
I don't think so. But I think it was kind of influenced by his movies. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't. That didn't hit me. Really?
I think so. I mean, you kind of have to expect the unexpected, right? So.
Okay. Something wicked this way comes, peeking through the blinds. I like that. Good one, Paul. And I see you, and what you are doing is illegal in 5 states. Yeah, he's going to bring the hellfire to punish you too. And yes, Jeff, I have to say, because I very often shit on colorists, but he did a banger, whoever it was, or he or she did a banger job on the cover too. I absolutely, I love how beautifully he did the effect of the fact that the fire is behind, like it really looks like that's what it would appear if the fire was behind. You're looking through those plastic Venetian blinds.
Right.
Yeah. That really looks, it looks so good. So yeah, the whole thing's complete, beautifully done. Yeah, really, really loved it. Looks like, Carl says, looks like my boss peeking into the employees' lounge. Well, see, here's the thing, Marcus. That's what I thought too, right? and because you see the long plastic stick on the left there that you twirl with your thumb and your 2 or 3 fingers that you use to twirl that thing. But the thing is, what makes it it could have been just a mistake on Jorge's part, just because of the fact that, yes, I would think that he would be making him, why? Like, because obviously, why would he be at home, right? So yes, it should be intended that he's outside, right? But then if he's outside, how many people do you know that will keep their actual window open and only put down their blind and keep the blind all the way down? That's what made me kind of think, I don't know, but I do agree. It's he should be outside, and he's trying to peek into somebody's house. But it's just kind of weird that somebody would leave their window open, but their blind down. But anyways, whatever. Either way, it's really, really kick-ass and cool. So I'm jealous of you, Makipoopoo. Very, very fun. But
it's a fun cover for sure.
Yeah, the rod is inside. Yeah, no, I get it. Okay. Peaky Blinders, good one. Nick says, a great Jorge Fornes cover. Very much so. You followed me for a while, but the first time hopping on. Hey, I appreciate that. So you're one of my longtime viewers, but you never said anything in the past. I appreciate that, John, and thank you so much. Very, very appreciated, man. Really, really appreciate it. More than you know. So thank you, and thank you not only for watching all the time that you've been watching, but especially for finally deciding to not only tune in live, but participate live. And you've been very, very active, and that's what makes it really a lot of fun. And as you see, we're all friends. Everybody's friends here, and everybody's nice to each other. Unlike those crazy convention goers in the convention lines at Peach Momoko's tables, we are always very nice. Never had a single incident in any of my shows after like 9 months of doing this every week. So you're very welcome, and I hope I see you continuing to come whenever you can. Appreciate it, man. So let me see. Ghost Rider, horror equals fun, only in Ruben's world. Oh, come on. A lot of collectors think that's fun. Come on, David. Let's see, Paul. There's always great wit tonight. Come on. Every night on this show. Every Sunday night. Come on. You just haven't been here in a while. That's why. You forgot. And yeah, the fire effect from behind the blinds is awesome. Jealous. Yeah, he's jealous too. Paul's jealous of your cover. Great cover. And
Paul is like,
well, you see his collection, right?
Yeah, I'm jealous of some of the stuff that he has too. So,
well, there you go. Exactly. You can be jealous of each other. There you go, and admire and mutually admirational of each other. So there you go. Don't laugh, John. Don't laugh. Just keep coming back whenever you can. Marcus, I do that to catch the UPS guy trying to fake deliver packages. That's awesome. You got to be careful with those delivery guys. I know for sure. That is so funny. Don't jinx the show. Marcus is starting to give me the stink eye. That's, oh my God, you guys are a riot. Okay, so let us once again go on to the next one, shall we? Still got many more to go. And yes, speaking of Ghost Rider, and speaking because you, Michael, you mentioned as I popped that one up that you had been reading it in the early '90s. So here's what I brought to follow that up. I figured it'd be perfect, right? Perfect segue.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone who's read the description and knows the story. Before buying this piece, I had this massive collection of toys, and I needed, because I live in a small apartment in Jersey City, and I needed to make space for Mika, right, when she was going to be born.
Yeah. So
I sold a lot of vintage toys just to make space, and I used the proceeds to purchase. So, so that's that story. But again, this art came from my favorite issue from the whole Ghost Rider series.
Oh,
right?
This
was the issue that I loved the best.
Oh wow,
it
has
amazing. That kind of creepy, cozy storyline. It's like You know, it's almost like one of those movies that you know, not a big budget one, but you know, yeah, you enjoy. So
Yeah.
yeah. So but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's spectacular. And matter of curiosity, what type of venue did you acquire this one? Was it dealer,
Oh,
auction?
I bought this from Anthony.
Oh, Anthony, one of the Anthony pieces. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's very cool.
I love Anthony. You know, yeah, he
Yeah.
and Mike. Yeah.
And Ian says that he loves a floating head piece of art. Yeah, it's. I mean, that's a great floating head, man. That's really like the skull,
Yeah, and yeah.
killer skull, man. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's not the motorcycle, but you also have a motorcycle, so that's also cool. I find, you know, it's yeah, and wow, that's wild to me that it came from your absolute favorite issue of that series. Like, what are the odds, you know?
Yeah, what are the odds, right?
Yeah. So that's one of the things we were mentioning earlier. Like sometimes you just know you got to get it. You can't let that go, you know?
Yeah, and so I guess the question that was asked in maybe last week's show, you know, once if you have something and you want to, and you kind of you make a decision, I'm going to sell it, right?
Yeah.
There's no regrets, right?
Right.
So because things happen for a reason,
Yep.
right? And this is one of them. You know?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. If it's meant to be, it's just meant to be, and that's it, right?
Exactly.
That page is in the right collection right now, is what I'm saying, right? So yeah. So excellent. All right. So let us take a look at another piece in Michael's collection. And yes, TJ, yes, Tex always did in Killer Skulls. Absolutely. I mean, it's really a huge part of why that series in 1990 became as popular as it was. I mean, in large part to Tex. And, you know, that's not to disparage Javier Saltares, but
Yeah.
it's the finished look, right, of that book was all about Tex. And
Yeah,
how,
exactly.
you know, yeah. So it was all Tex all the time, whether it was him penciling or only inking. It's always going to look Tex, you know. So yeah, he really created that 90s look.
And that's one reason why I kind of stopped reading comics, you know, because you know what really upset me was you get into comics and you're reading and it's being done by this really awesome artist, and after a few issues, you know, someone else takes over, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking, it's not the same.
No.
Right? So, and
But it's how the industry works, though, right? Like we understand.
Exactly. Yeah. And at the time, I didn't really understand it, but now I do. But you know, when Tex and Javier they did their run, that was at the peak, right?
Yeah, for sure. So of course Stanley wants to extend the show right away before we get to another piece of art. But see if you can briefly take this one, Michael. He wants to know if you prefer buying from dealers, collectors, artists, or auction houses.
I
think we all have probably a preference, but what do you say?
You know, the most important thing is you trust the person, right?
Yeah.
I've done some boneheaded stuff, like I mentioned to you about my dispute, right? So,
you wanna share that with people or no?
Well, it's still ongoing, so I don't want to.
Yeah, that's true, and I don't know the details of it, so that's yeah, it's better.
Yeah,
let's not jinx it.
You know, I don't want to be too negative about it. You know, it is what it is. But one thing is that, you know, through this hobby, I've met really cool, very nice people, and like Tatiana's one of them, right? So, so you know, I don't have any preferences, but it always helps when you trust the dealer or the auction house or the collector that you're dealing with.
Right.
And obviously it's if you can get at the right price and under the right circumstance, I like to do time payments just because,
Yeah.
when I buy something, I usually buy not just one, I buy a bunch of different stuff from a variety of people. So,
Right.
so if the terms are, friendly, collector friendly, then yeah, it really helps a lot. So,
Yeah. For sure.
but
Thank
yeah,
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Stanley. I mean, I guess it's more about the feeling of trust that you have with whoever you're dealing with. It's more about that.
exactly. I mean, I bought stuff from eBay, and then it turns out it wasn't the item that you were expecting, and then it
Mm,
doesn't mean I won't ever buy from eBay again, but you just try to be even smarter about it, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Excellent. Thank you for answering that question on Stanley's behalf. Let's get to the next piece of art we're going to show. And for this one, this was brought up earlier by Caesar and actually a couple of others. And this one is G.I. Joe by Agustin Padilla.
yeah, I mean, this is awesome, and this is I, I give credit to Bill Cox and CAF because through CAF you're able to network with a lot of art collectors out there, and I was very fortunate to pick this up from a collector. Um, so
Yeah. Was it something that you decided to reach out and ask about, or was it he actually trying to sell it?
oh, actually, he was trying to sell something else, and
Okay.
then I had asked him about this one, as well. So I bought this and something else, but yeah, no, but this was he didn't want to. I mean, this he didn't have it. This one actively for sale. I just asked about it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even more fortuitous on your part that it wasn't for sale and you still ended up with it.
And actually, I bought it. He actually, I think he might be. I think he might. I'm not sure where in Canada he lives. I think he might be from Toronto or something. I'm not
Oh,
sure. I
you
forget.
mean the collector?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's actually Canadian. So,
Oh, interesting.
um,
Oh, Canada. Yeah, it's yes, exactly. Rick points out that it's another peekaboo cover, basically.
yeah. I guess I have an eye for peekaboo, right? So,
Yeah, it's really cool. It's I don't know. Marcus is throwing me off. The collector. What about me? I don't know. Sorry, that delay is screwing us up again, Marcus. Sorry, man. And there's a GI Joe fan, West. Yo, Joe. West is a big GI Joe fan, and that's
oh
how he
yeah, I
met.
know. I mean,
Yeah, you know. Okay, yeah, he got
I,
started off with GI
I,
Joe.
yeah, it just amazes me every time the stuff that he puts up out there.
Yeah.
It's like wow.
Like I said, it's like a joint mutual admiration society. That's the nice
Yeah,
thing about sharing the collections, right?
yeah,
You get to admire other people's vicariously, and they also eventually there's always going to be somebody that's into the same stuff you're into, and they're going to
yeah.
be
I
you
mean,
know
one thing I learned, and I learned this through experience, but I mean, like if you don't get the piece that you want, I mean, it's definitely not the end of the world because there's so much great art out there,
yes,
and not everyone has, the the resources to buy everything good. So there's always good art out there, and you just got to be patient about it, right? So
well, yes. I mean, it's like I always say, there's infinitely more art out there than any of us, and I literally mean any of us in the hobby can afford to buy.
yeah, I mean, earlier this year I was looking for like a Steven Kevich piece, and I wanted to buy it. I reached out to and it was sold, unfortunately. So it sold recently. So,
And this is a Sienkiewicz piece of what?
well, it was a cover of Conan.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I wanted to purchase it, and when I reached out, it had sold recently. So
Okay.
I was a little bummed about it, but but life goes on. You buy other things, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. There's always something.
but
There's
but
always
there's
something.
always going to be opportunity, right?
Yeah,
So you just gotta be patient. So
yeah, absolutely. There's, like I said, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. There's always, for most people, there's so much more art in existence than you can ever afford to buy. So yeah, it's like you can be sad about missing out on stuff sometimes, but you can sort of placate yourself by, with the knowledge that something else you love is always going to be coming on. As long as you stay in the
yeah,
hobby, there's always going to be more things that you want to get.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the nice thing about it. And like Ian makes a nice point, right? He loves seeing everyone's covers that are outside of his budget. And he's just glad when it gets shared, right? Because he gets to see it and he can vicariously own it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's yeah. And are you asking me, Marcus, that I'm not CM Punk? I don't know. I don't know why you're asking these things. You're killing me. I don't know. You're it's over. It's sorry, man. It's going over my head. I am not CM Punk. I know who that is. But Hoarder's Hide. What's up, Scotty? I hate missing pieces. What do you mean missing pieces? What do you mean? Oh, you mean missing out on stuff you wanted? I think that's what you mean, Scott. Oh, you're asking. Sorry, Marcus is asking the G.I. Joe tattoo guys. Okay. Yeah, number one Marvel fan mentioned earlier. I popped it up on the screen. He has 2 G.I. Joe tattoos, and he says he owns all the toys from 1982 to 87. Like complete number one Marvel fan. Look at that. 82 to 87,
Wow.
every single G.I. Joe toy. Come on. Like, how do you even know every single toy that exists? Like, is there a checklist out there? Wow, that's if you got them all, that's impressive. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I still have some of the toys in package.
Okay.
It's
Holy crap! Though, number one Marvel fan says that his tats, the tats he got him 32 years ago. Wow! So you've had G.I. Joe on your body, living with G.I. Joe since 1990 or 91. Wow, that's insane, dude. That's insane. Now that's a fan. That's a fan. But yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's got to be pretty faded now, I would gather, though, right? After all these decades. I mean, that's the vibrancy of tattoos never seems to last. Oh, you got okay. Yep, have pictures on my Facebook. Do you go by number one Marvel fan on Facebook?
Yeah, if you can send me a message, I'd love to send me a link. I'd love to look at your collection. Maybe I can grab a toy.
Yeah, actually, number one Marvel fan, use the link that's down below inside the description of this video. Click the link to go to Makipoopoo's. Okay, thank you. Go to Makipoopoo's calf gallery and reach out to him through that calf gallery. Okay, send him a private message because he's going to want to go and check it out. So, yeah. And,
there's a snake eyes, right?
Look at that. What
classic?
Is that a rare one that's like worth big bucks?
I suppose. I don't know how much they go for these days. I mean, I bought it I bought it like 15 years ago. So.
Oh wow! And is that like a 1980s one?
Yeah, it is. I haven't. I stopped buying them because number one, I was running out of space, but and plus I started getting more into art, right? So it was a combination. Yeah. But I still love them. It's a whole part of my childhood, and I'm really big into nostalgia. So anything that reminds me of my childhood, I mean, all of us, right?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I love it. I love it all.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, man. Like whatever floats your boat, man. You got to do what you got to do. Whatever makes you happy. It's perfect, right? So excellent. Okay, so let us get on to the next piece of art to show everyone. And from G.I. Joe, we will go. Yes, we will go to the piece, the perfect piece for Makipoopoo and Little Makipoopoo. Let me check this one out. Why don't you tell us all a little bit about the story behind this one, Michael?
Oh yeah, so this is really recent, right? So
recreation.
Yeah, so Joe Jusko had this Kickstarter, and you sign up for it, and they randomly select the art for you. And I, I'll be honest, I didn't read Nomad back in the '90s, but he did appear in like the Infinity Crusade series, so I knew who he was, and he actually one of the cooler looking heroes. So I was lucky I landed this piece, and because like I said, it reminds me of Mika, right?
Yeah.
So this is like I think kind of meant for me,
Yeah. Another one of those that was meant to be, and it's in the right collection.
I mean, he's not like Silver Surfer or I don't know, Wolverine, but
whatever, it is what it is. And listen, the key thing is you got to remember you knew what you signed up for, and just so everybody else knows, for those of you who don't know, on the Kickstarter, so the thing that Joe did was he said, I'm going to recreate every single one of those original Marvel Masterpieces card paintings. But the thing was that the way to handle it in fairness was that it was a random draw type thing. So nobody would get to pick their character, and you'd just be told, okay, you're getting this one, you're getting that one. And so that's why, Michael.
It's one of those pieces, and I'm sure a lot of people can attest, but when it's even better when you get it in person,
Yeah, of course, yeah. Everybody.
Yeah, even if it's just a recreation.
Oh no, yeah, everybody knows that.
And I know the original was actually owned by Nathan Hanley, I think.
Nathan Hanley, yeah.
Yeah, so, but, it's such I love it,
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm really lucky I lucked out. When I signed up for it, the thing that I said, I just wish I don't get the blob.
Really? I love the blob, so I wouldn't have minded the blob, to be honest.
I was thinking, there's, I don't know, I didn't know. I mean, there was a chance I would have gotten him, but at the time I was thinking in my head, who's probably someone I don't want.
I get it. I totally get it. Good night, TJ. Thanks for dropping in as always. I appreciate your support, buddy. Thank you. Have a good one.
I got my wish.
Well, no,
anyone but the blob. So
yeah, listen. Out of that entire set, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty. If you really look through them, I'm sure there's plenty you would be wishing. I hope I don't get that one. I hope I don't get that one.
Yeah. And I don't mean to offend any blob collectors out there. So.
Well, like I said, I'm a blob fan. So if you offended me, it's too late now. You've already done that. But no, I get it, and it's cool that, listen, if you were going to get stuck with a third tier character, it really is kind of special that you got the one where he's holding the little baby version,
little Bucky, right?
Right, little Bucky. So it's kind of like you said, it reminds you of you and your daughter. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it just worked out perfectly, I think. If you didn't get the one you really wanted, which obviously was not likely going to happen, I think it turned out.
And a lot of, I collect art, pieces that I obviously had a connection to, but I'm also eyeing pieces that I think Mika would like,
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's not another aspect of my collecting habits, or that's evolved over the years, So.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a natural progression that it's gone for you, I totally get that for sure. Okay, everybody, let's check out the next piece, and the next piece is by Mr. Ronald Lim, And this is from a Marvel Holiday Special, #1 from back in 1991. Kind of a fun piece. I wanted to pick this one, Michael, because I'm a bit of a sucker, not only for like comic art and newspaper strip art that has like, from the Christmas time period. But it's more so than the Christmas thing. I love it when art contains scenes where it's like kind of emotional. Like in this case, for those of you, since I'm sure none of you can really read the dialogue, he's, Cap is in this home of the elderly lady with her family, and he's on this page. He's basically telling her, okay, well, I'm gonna get out of here now. I'll leave you to spend the holidays with your family. And she basically tells them, oh, no, you don't, mister. You're going to sit right down and fix yourself a plate, and you're sitting down. As far as I'm concerned, you're family, too. Something to that effect or whatever, and it's just feel-good type things, right?
Yeah, and that's what I love about comics, right? The dialogue, the progression. It's when you read it, you feel connected to it, right? So
yeah.
So it's more than just the art sometimes, and it's about the emotional connection, right? So this just hits the right spot, different places.
Yeah, that's it. It's fun. I when I spotted it, I was like, right away, I was like, oh, I saw the Christmas. It was a Christmas themed page, but I was like, okay, I don't want to show it just for that, but let me read it because it's kind of interesting to see. Oh, why is he inside a house talking to an older woman with a family in the bottom panel there? I see kind of like, it's kind of odd. So I was like, okay, I need to read this and see what's happening here, And when I read it, I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. Plus, it's the end page,
Yeah.
I love the woman at the end. How she not only does she insist that he stay and fix himself a plate to eat, and then she's like, oh, I still don't know how I can even thank you, and then ends with him saying, oh, you already have.
She's actually Bucky's sister, I believe.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks for adding the context, man.
Yeah. So you know what happened to Bucky? He disappeared all these years, and then he Captain America resurfaced.
Yeah.
And years later, he found out that Bucky had a sister, right? And this was his sister.
Oh wow, Bucky's sister. That's so cool. That is very, 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 very cool. Yeah, Paul says, "Oh wow, cool. Same like me. Same. We're thinking the same thing, Hey, Rich, good to see you, my friend. No, never. As I always say, never. It's never too late to join the party, and never need to apologize, man. Oh yeah, you did your birthday celebration, right? With it. Oh my God. You know what, Rich? I can't believe. Well, I'll have to talk to you privately because now is not the time. Obviously, I didn't even know you had a son, let alone a son with grandkids. Holy shit! Wow, you're blowing my mind right now, Rich. So again, happy birthday. I know I left it for you on Facebook, but I just want to put it out there. I hope you had a great time, man. And thank you for coming in on the day that you're celebrating the birthday. That is so funny. Hoarder's Hide's asking, why does Cap have a cold sore on his lip? Come on, man. Was he making out with Becky's sister? You're so bad. That's the coloring. That's the bad coloring. That's all that is. I shouldn't have colored that thing because then it makes it look like cold sore, of course. A good one, Marcus. The Winter Sister. That's a really good one, actually. It seems so obvious. Oh, come on, Rich. Are you kidding me? You have 5 grandchildren?
Congrats.
Smokes. Listen, when you've known somebody in this hobby like 20 years or somewhat, whatever it's been for us, and only now I'm finding out that you're a father and of a grandfather of 5 kids, you're blowing my mind like you won't believe. Oh my God. Okay, anyways. Wrong time to lay this on me, but that's crazy. Wow. Okay. Sorry for the little segue, Michael, and everybody else. That's just.
Oh yeah, no, I love. Rich, you should bring your grandkids to your next episode with Rubén.
Well, they're probably all like, even now he's probably gonna blow my mind and tell me, oh yeah, and the grandkids are all the youngest one's like 15 or something, you know. Holy smokes, you're wild. But okay, so you were a young daddy. Well, I guess so, because I know you're not that much older than I am. So my gosh, yeah, that's wow. You're killing me though, dude. But there you go, Mr. Easy Go Lucky's congratulating you. There you go. Everybody's always so nice. That's why I love it here. So okay, and with that, yeah. So excellent piece of art. Really, really dig it, and also kind of fun that it's a Ron Lim cat page. Especially one that is not from the actual Cap run that he's so famous for, you know. So that's
right. This is a special.
Yeah. So that's also what I find kind of fun too, you know. Yeah, Rich. I figured they'd be between 1 and 10. Still, even 10's blowing my mind. You're killing. Oh my God, you're really killing me. You are the grandfather of a 10-year-old. That's insane. Wow. Okay. And now that Rich has blown my mind and he's sort of got me all flustered and thinking and distracting me, yeah, let's take a look at the next piece, everybody. And this one I remember, you know, what's weird about this next one is that I remember leaving. I feel like I left a comment on it. And then when I went through your gallery and I think there's no comment, and I'm like, is it possible you got this from somebody else? And I had left the previous owner a comment. So let's look at this for the X fans. This is Professor X.
Yeah. It is. I actually, it was owned by another collector. But I bought this from Anthony, you know, so he must have picked it up from the other collector.
Yeah. They did a trade deal or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, look. You know, I wasn't big into the X-Men back in the day. You know, part of it was, you know, I wanted kind of like, I felt like everybody was into it, right? And I wanted to be kind of like the guy who was reading the less popular stuff. So.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I do love about the X-Men are the Sentinels, right? So I love everything Sentinel and.
Love the Sentinels.
Yeah, and this page is kind of like a recreation, right, of the original. I don't know who did the original one.
Right, because
was it Kirby? I think
it
might have been Kirby. Yeah,
I think Kirby was still on the title at the time.
Yeah. So, but it's essentially retelling the story, right? So.
Yeah, because this whole that was the premise of this series, was that it would retell those original X-Men stories, but in the modern era kind of thing, like
yeah, and it's like, again, you know, it's why you love comic book art, right?
Yeah,
and you know, sometimes I wonder, you know, one thing I like about interior pages and splashes is that you can read you can read the storyline, right? The conversations, right? Especially if you're buying stuff from the 80s or 90s or, you know, earlier. But yeah, I mean, the art, you know, I mean,
yeah, it's great. It's great. And when I saw this, because this is like late 90s, I was so happy to see that it was inked by Ian Aiken, because as a kid in the 80s, I always, you remember Ian Aiken and Brian Garvey were like an inking team. They always worked together, so you would always see them in the credits as Aiken and Garvey, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And it was so cool to see that by the late 90s he was still inking, but this time solo without Brian Garvey. And it's funny because I never yes, exactly, Marcus, like the Untold Tales of Spidey, precisely. I never found out the relationship, like with I always wondered with Aiken and Garvey, well, what did one guy do versus what the other guy did, you know? Because it's not like they were a penciling and inking team. They were both the inkers. And I was never able to find an interview with them anywhere, either of them, you know? So I know nothing about them. I'd love to find out what they were doing together exactly, you know, what parts of the inking they were each doing, and why they worked together that way for so many years, and then ultimately why they broke up and, you know, went their separate ways, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting. But so I thought that was cool, and he put a really beautiful finish on that splash page. So
Right.
I want to show that one, you know. Alrighty, so let's go to the next piece, and this one is going to be near and dear to Makipoopoo's heart, and this one, check this out, guys. It is a prelim to the cover of Punisher Magazine #4 by Joe Chiodo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Punisher magazine. I mean, you know, what was interesting about that whole series, right? They reprinted issues from the original Punisher comics, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And
They
then
started with the miniseries, I think.
Yeah, and then I don't know if they ever got into the Punisher War Journal, but but I actually think I like the black and white even better than the colored, right? I don't know. It's just me. Maybe it's just me, but it definitely I don't know. It's just a feeling, right? You know, black and white comics. So
yeah.
So, but
I just want to point out because I'm being corrected by Marcus. Marcus, is that supposed to be Cheeto? Because it looks like with a Y, I would say Chido, and I'm pretty sure it's not Chido. Cheeto? Cheeto, maybe? I mean, what's his background? You know, it's funny because I never found out what his background was. Are you saying Cheeto? So I would have written, if it's Cheeto, I would have written like Chee. Yeah, let me know, man. I'm sure you already have, and it's just the delay that's taking time for you to pop your answer.
Oh, you know, Joe is such a great guy to deal with too. You know, I've had some commissions done by him. I mean, he's so humble, and his manager, I think, Joe Dozer, right? Yeah, they're great people to deal with. I love collecting his stuff, and so I have a few pieces by Joe, and it's just more gratifying when you see all these great art, and they're done by so nice people, and you know, and yeah, I mean, I just, you know, it's just it just enhances the experience.
Yeah, I just want to say that just to go back to the X-Men piece for a second, if we may, because John Stout put this question up, and he wanted to know. So, do these have the word balloons pasted in, or are they drawn on that X-Men page? I think those were paste ups, were they? Let's take
I'd have to check, but I believe they were pasted. Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a quick look. Yeah, those are paste-ons, John.
Yeah, they're pasted.
Those are definitely pasted.
A lot of my my '90s interior, they're all like pasted. You know.
Yeah, but John, they can be both. Sometimes it's drawn on, sometimes it's pasted on. So
yeah,
but that particular one, yeah, definitely pasted on. But yeah, no, I wanted to say that I love prelims because they tend to have an energy that is often lost in the finished piece.
Yeah.
There's a spontaneity in the artist's line, I find, that is often lost. And yeah, I actually prefer, in this case, this is one of those cases where I do prefer the prelim even to the finished piece, actually.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm lucky I have it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, Yeah, and Marcus. So according to Will Sportasio, it's chai, Chido, CHY to me is like Chi Town, like Chi Town. Yeah, Chido. Okay, whatever. I don't know. I'll have to. Hopefully, I can reach out to him one day and ask him myself and get it from the horse's mouth. That'd be awesome. But yeah, Carl, Aiken and Garvey on Rom. Exactly. I love that stuff. Yeah, on Salbusema. I thought that looked fantastic. Mr. Easy Go Lucky loves his work as well.
Your drawing. Sure.
And,
get your going. Get your going.
What else do we have here? Right on the money prelim. Yeah, you're very welcome, John. My pleasure. And oh my God, Comic Baston, you're back. Just checking in. Congrats, Michael, on your X-Men piece. I have the corresponding page from X-Men number 15. Wow. You mean the corresponding splash page? That the original version of that splash? Is that what you mean, Comic Boston? Because that's so cool. Yeah, that would be really, really neat. Wow.
That's so cool. I mean, congrats,
wow. Yeah. That's really, really neat. Wow. And yes, thank you, Marcus. Thank you. Wow. The perspective on your piece is better. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, wasn't the original Kirby one just like a straight ahead, dead on, like a dead ahead, straight on sort of eye level type shot? I think it was. Whereas this is a more interesting, dynamic camera angle, I believe. Right. Either way, still cool to have. You can't be sad about owning that one, Comic Art Boston. That's for sure. Or perhaps the page after that. Okay. Well, either way, still very, very, very cool. But yeah, I will say also one thing I never liked about this piece, and more so on the finished piece, I really never liked the fact that Joe made him look like a 1950s greaser. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. Look at the hairdo. Like what? It looks like it looks like he's gonna start breaking out into mute.
The interesting about it is because I've conversed with Joe, and I'm sure a lot of other artists will tell you the same thing. Is that when they did it at like an early part of their career. So
yeah.
So and they will tell you that they don't even know how people like their art back in the day because they were still trying to learn the trade, right? So,
yeah.
So,
well, it's not that it's badly drawn, though. You understand? Like, I'm not saying it's badly drawn. I'm just saying what an odd choice to give him this sort of greasy, slicked back sides with a bouffant top on. It looks, like I said, it looks like John Travolta in Grease. I mean, that's so weird.
Yeah, but what makes them so great is they're willing to be like kind of criticize their own work, and so right. I think that motivates them to do even better, right?
So, for sure, absolutely.
So it's interesting for me to hear from Joe talk about it. So
yeah, no, that's part of the fun of being able to talk with the artist, right? I love talking technique with an artist, which right. I don't get that much of a chance to do since I don't really travel much, and I don't really reach out to artists online very often either, But then Nick, that's so funny. They were making Italians look bad. Oh, that's so funny. Exactly. Thank you. That's a good one. Oh my God, it's so good. But okay, all right. You ready for the next piece, Michael?
Sure.
All right. So the next one, we're gonna go sticking, of course, with the same theme. I had to do it. I just couldn't resist doing another back-to-back, like I did earlier with the Choose Your Own Adventure. So on this one, only because it's the same theme, not only because it's the same theme, but also because we just showed a prelim to the finished art. This time I figured let's stick with the same theme, but you have the finished art. So let's take a look and talk to all of us.
Oh yeah, there's one piece in my collection that I'm definitely lucky to have is this one. I didn't even know how it was available on Mike Berkey's website.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, no one else pounced on it. But once I saw it, I didn't think long, in deciding to get it, So
Yeah.
I was just afraid that if I bought it, that my wife might say something because it's so violent,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was
Well,
afraid
yes.
that you gotta put it up, and Mika can see it,
And then
all
Mika's
the
gonna see it.
violence. So
Yeah.
So I was a little concerned, but fortunately, she was cool about it. So,
Oh, that's good.
so
That's good. And
Mika
it
wants
does.
to show her art.
Oh,
So,
excellent. Hold on. So give me a second here. Yeah, hold on. Let me just put up Polly P's comment. The gorgeous Jusco cover, and that's an oil slick caused by the hair grease. Like nice. I like that. Good one, dude. Good one. All right, we're gonna go already to the next piece of art. Look at this. Oh, the next one is probably the best one we're gonna show all night. And here, look at this next piece, everybody. Hold on. Check this out. We're gonna see it live. Wow! Super.
Mika, what's this? What is this?
Puppy superhero.
No.
Daddy as a superhero?
But she's helping people.
Oh, that's very cute.
Yeah.
Mika, that's a great job you did. You dropped way better than I ever did. That's for sure.
Yeah. So
And she
who
agrees.
knows? She might be a comic book artist in the future.
Hey,
Yeah.
if she likes it, certainly encourage it. That's what I would say,
Yeah. So yeah, she's so talented. I'm so lucky. Actually, the funny thing is that a lot of her pieces, we framed it, and we like to hang it in our house. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That really encourages her then.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you got a claim. Unfortunately, Rich, I don't think it's available tonight.
I'll have to ask her. She won't even have me. She won't even let me have it. So.
Marcus was goading you on to try to give her a kiss, telling you to give her a kiss, Dad. Oh, I'm sure he gives her plenty.
Yeah, I think she's kind of shy,
Yeah, but you wouldn't think so. She's going on sort of live television now, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that's very well done. No, she's a sweetheart. So yeah, keep encouraging her. That's how the next generation of potentially the next generation of comic book artists. That's where they come from, right?
Exactly.
Oh, Makipoopoo Momoko. Yeah, that's little Makipoopoo Momoko. Here's a Comic Art Boston saying, if she can draw, Michael, encourage her. My daughter is now an artist, and she was encouraged from when she was very young. Yeah. And and I've seen some of the art that his daughter has done, and I can attest to it being quite a talent. She's quite a talented artist. So yeah, encourage. That's all we can do as parents, for sure. Anyways, right?
Exactly.
And Paul is upset because Rich beat him to the claim. None of you are getting it. Like Michael said. Like Michael said, she won't even let her dad have it. That is so funny. All right, cool. Yes, the girl is very talented for her age.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt when you were showing the Punisher magazine.
No. Yeah, we're gonna go back to it anyways. Don't worry about it. Yeah. If she can draw, still encourage her, because there are a lot of artists today who can't draw either and still are making a living at it. Nice way to put it. So Paul, you're leaving us. So happy to meet you, Michael. Your joyful personality is contagious, and he has to run.
Likewise.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you dropping in and staying as long as you stayed. It's been a long time, so great having you. Thank you. And we'll talk soon. Take care, bud. Use a color frame. No, don't ever use a color frame. No. Don't do that. Let's not get into that topic. All right. So yeah, let me get back and talk a little bit again about the Jojusco here piece. I wanted to say, not only are the gluteus maximus very, very pronounced there, but what I love about it is if you look at that area right on his right leg, and you stare at it because I mean it's very pronounced. But then you look over to the right at the published version, like what? And then you look back, like what a difference when you're fortunate enough to be able to see the original artwork, right? The vibrancy of the color without the the added factor of, well, it's a print of the original, and the colors don't come out as vibrant, and yeah, it's spectacular. It is very.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and if you get the right framing, make it even look special. Like
Oh
more
yeah.
special. Oh, you agree?
She agrees. All right, Hoarder's Hide. Catch you later, man. Thank you so much for dropping in. I appreciate it. Oh, and use whatever frame you want. Oh, what Ruben wants. Oh, yes, exactly. I think he's telling you, listen to me. That was too many typos there, Scott. You lost on that one. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, no. So, how long ago did you get this one, Michael?
I think it was 2020 or 2021. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
it was fairly recent. But this was the piece that really hooked me on collecting art. Yeah. The one.
No, it's
I mean, there's one piece that changed my whole collecting habits. It was this one because.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it was. When I first saw it years before that, I said, "My God, it's probably impossible for me to get it." So, I just didn't think it was possible. But when it did happen, it just opened, then opened the world of possibilities. So
sure. That's a great way to put it. I actually, I mean, from when I started in the hobby in 1982, I immediately became a fan of Joe's work because I noticed some random Savage Sword cover, and then he it's funny because he seemed to only do somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 33 Savage Sword covers in his entire career.
Yeah.
Yet I guess because they were so spread out. His first one, I think, was in 78.
Oh wow! Yeah.
When he was, believe it or not, he was only 18.
Yeah.
18 years old. And I guess because they were spread out amongst all the Earl Norham covers and all the all the other ones, and it because they were so spread out, it felt like he did many, many more than he really did.
The funny thing is when I had no idea who he was when I first read the comics. So, but my first impression was, oh my God, this guy is like a Picasso or something. Well, I didn't know he was really quite young at the time. So, I had no clue, right? Until years later. But I mean, he's still older than me, but I thought he might have been like a really old master or something. But this was pre-internet days, so you couldn't really do any research about the artist back then, other than the fact you buy a comic and that's it. So
yeah, I mean, aside from that, you also you could have bought on occasion prozines like Amazing Heroes, the comic book, the Buyer's Guide, CBG, Amazing Heroes, Comics Interview. So the types of publications that specialized in doing a lot of artist interviews. So if you were fortunate enough to do interviews or read interviews, then you can maybe learn a little bit more about the artist. But I get you. Other than that, if you didn't have access to that, then you didn't really know much about them. But Nick, to bring up another point, not only was he 18 when he broke in with his first cover, look what he says. I forgot about this. Yes, he at the time was a police officer early in his career while painting covers.
That's so cool. I mean, I even respect him more, after I found out that he was a police officer, it's such a cool job. And, you know. So
Yeah, that's funny, number one Marvel fan. Then in your early days, you used to confuse Alex Ross for Joe Jusko? Really? Because I never found that they had like anything remotely similar artistic approaches or painting approaches, you know. But that's cool. Hopefully, you can recognize the difference now, though. That's what matters. Hopefully, you've learned over the years, you know. Yeah, so very, very cool, everybody. You ready for another pizza,
here's a
Michael?
kiss.
Hey, look how happy that made Mika.
Huh? Oh yeah. Oh, no. Later. What time? You have school tomorrow, right? You have to go to bed soon. Okay.
It's peace. Okay. See you later, Mika.
Later.
Awesome. Yeah, so let me take a look at another one. The next piece. Hold on. Number one Marvel fan says early Ross felt like some Jessica P. Really? I never saw that myself, but hey, whatever. That's what you saw. That's what you saw. You know. That's interesting. Thank you as always, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. Yes, please, everybody, if you haven't done so, please just click that little that thumbs up icon right below the screen that you're watching. We'd really appreciate it. That'd be nice. Thank you so much. And yeah, again, any of you who are here for the first time, perhaps, hey, there he is. Perhaps you, John. If you like it, if you've had a good time, and you haven't already done so, please consider hitting the subscribe button.
You know that nomad piece that I have. I don't know. It looked to me like maybe it could be a self-portrait of Joe, right? You know, it kind of looks like his.
I don't know. I'd have to look at it again. I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no right now. I'll have to look at that. But hold on. Let me see. And yeah, Marcus, I was kind of thinking of that too. That's the first time I ever, I discovered when that came out. I bought it because it was Terminator related, and I was like, oh, who's this Alex Ross guy? Oh, that's kind of cool, painted stuff, you know. When you look back at it now, it's like, oh, it's for me, it's hard to look at. It's like, pretty good for a beginner kind of thing. But yeah, you could see how much he grew in just a few years beyond that. But yeah, I would say maybe that's certainly the only Alex Ross thing that I could confuse for the Joe Jusko kind of a finished look. Although still would say not really, but certainly that more than his, 1994 Marvel stuff and onward. That's for sure, Yeah. So thank you, John. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, okay. So cool. Let us move on. The next piece we're going to go on to is a non-painted piece. And that is this Sinister War, which I confess I don't think I've ever heard of, but I loved Mark Bagley, and I thought, hey, this is a really cool looking piece. Looks like he's in the cemetery. That's always kind of cool for me, spooky, and I don't know. Tell me a little bit about this, man.
Yeah, I picked this up from a collector, in CAF, and back in the day, I didn't read too many of Spider-Man, but I love, obviously, who doesn't like Spider-Man? I wanted a piece by something with Mary Jane, and I think there was one time when, I think on Dueling Dealers, there was a piece that was done by Lee Weeks, and I had Mary Jane and Spider-Man, and I wanted to buy it, and I kind of like bummed out that someone else had bought it. So, so ever since I wanted like a Mary Jane and Spider-Man piece, and then there you have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Like Carl says, I agree. Wow, can't go wrong with Spidey.
Yeah.
And there's not too many people that you'll hear admit that they weren't Spidey fans growing up. I do know some, but not many,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and with Mary Jane, and it's pretty wicked. Off the top of your head, do you know whose boot is coming in and kicking him in the last panel? Because it looks like the same costume. It looks like it's his costume, but
yeah, You know what? I honestly I read it, but I have to.
You don't remember? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries. Comic R Boston says that's a very nice piece. I grew to appreciate Mark Bagley on Spidey more and more over time. Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean Mark Bagley. I mean, if the way he draws Spider-Man is, I mean, you can't say enough about Bagley.
I really hope more people sort of come to that realization, like Comic R Boston, because mark my words, he is going to go down as one of the absolute at the top of all Spider-Man artists of all time. Like he's up there. He will be recognized in terms of, whether you like or dislike his style, he will go down as he will be recognized as one of the most important artists, a Spider-Man artist of all time. Absolutely. And I would even argue he's already got enough of a resume that the day will come where you will be able to argue that he is the most important. And don't get all up in arms and tell me, there's no way anybody can ever pass Ditko and Ramita because they came first, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into that, but mark my words, he's absolutely one of the most, he already is one of the most important artists, Spidey artists of all time. So there you go. So yeah, very good. But Marcus, not only longevity, that is true, but longevity and quality. Again, whether you like his style or not, I mean, to me, it's longevity and quality. I think he put out great quality. And of course, I knew Comic R Boston, who loves his Kirby and his Ditko, was going to come out and say, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I'm just saying, he is absolutely now.
The one thing with Bagley is like he he worked, during our generation, like my generation, so you kind of feel a lot closer to him, certainly, in that respect. Right. So.
Yeah, for sure. Good night, Carl. Go get your dinner, my friend. Thank you. And you say thanking you as well, Michael, and to the live chat crew. Yeah, baby. Woo! Yeah, thank you, everybody, as always, for being so cool and always making this such a great time. So thanks to all of you. Have a great dinner, Carl, and hopefully see you next week. And Comic R Boston says Bagley could do the 30th anniversary issues only because of the foundations laid on the tongue. Here we go again. Blah blah blah. Now it's my turn to say blah 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 blah. Whatever. He is absolutely one of the most important Spider-Man artists of all time. Already, right now, today. That's a fact. Whether you like him or not, it's a fact. Just because of the body of work alone. So there we go. All right, so let us move on to the next piece, everybody. And for this, we are jumping back to a painted piece. And for this, we're going back to one of the first sort of comics that Makipoopoo first got himself. And that is an issue of Savage Sword of Conan. And again, by the esteemed Joe. I don't know how to say it. I don't know if it's
Chiodo, right?
Chiodo, whatever. But Joe, we will find out one day and get it from your own mouth.
Yes.
So, how did you acquire this one, Michael?
Well, I bought it on Heritage. So.
Oh, this was a Heritage purchase. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't an auction. Some collector owned it, and I just made it.
Oh, the aftermarket you use, the aftermarket feature.
Yes. Again, I mentioned to you I'd wanted to get a Stefan Kevich Conan, and it sold. So I was like, oh man. So I went on Heritage and I found this, and I'm very lucky, very fortunate. Joe's one of my favorite artists, and Savage Sword. If you want a Conan piece, Savage Sword's one of the best. So so I was
fantastic.
It's such a massive piece too. The words of Anthony Snyder. I like big art. I cannot lie, right? So
Yeah.
So the size of this is about the same as the Punisher magazine that I have. So it's about the same size.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
really
And
nice.
do you remember like how tall in terms of inches? How much it was? Is
I know it's at least I can't remember, 27 inches. I think by 20. I'm not sure.
okay. Yeah. No, just to give it. Yeah, just to give
20 by
everybody.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, the thing is with, I'm starting to kind of run into the same problem that I have with toys, right? There's only so much wall space you can put up with. so,
Yeah, of course.
so then
Wall
you have to
space.
start being selective. Okay, what goes up on the wall?
Yeah. Well, wall space is always at a premium. And the wall real estate is always at a premium in most people's homes.
Yeah. I mean, it's still easier to store versus toys, but yeah. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. I colored art. I know it's not for everyone. It's just so much nicer to look at,
Yeah.
on the
No, I get
wall.
it.
Right.
I get it. I get it. I've got about 3 dozen pieces framed on my walls. They're all color pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
All
I mean,
color.
I have black and white on the wall, but there are only a few of them,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, as long as they're nicely framed, black and white still looks beautiful.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
just that the color, in a home, the color just really grabs your eye so much
It
more
does.
quickly.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? My reason why I collect art is part of it is because I work and it can get pretty stressful, and so it's nice to come home and
Thank you, Mr.
you
Easy Go
know.
Lucky. Sorry to interrupt, Michael. Mr. Easy Go Lucky he's got
Oh
to go for
yeah,
dinner, and he's saying it's great to see you and your daughter, and wishing us a good rest of the show.
thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
the kind
much.
of
Thank you
word.
so much as always, my friend. Thank you. See you hopefully next week. Sorry. Go on. Sorry to
Yeah, no,
interrupt.
I was saying, the reason I collect art, one of the reasons is because, you work, we all work, and sometimes you have a very stressful day at work and you come home and, it's one reason why we all work really hard is because, you're able to, enjoy this hobby, and then it has a mellowing effect on me. I like
Yeah.
to just stand there. It's like going to a museum. You just stand there and you look at it for. Sometimes I can stand there for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah. For however long
Just
it is. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Just
it's nice
let
that
it
you have it
sink
in
in,
your
right?
the comforts of your home. So but
Yeah. It's
yeah.
funny.
So
It's funny you say that because so there are times where I'll be in my, let's say, my living room or even here in the office, and I'll be standing there and I'll just be sort of just standing like you would be at a museum. You're standing in front of a painting and you're just sort of taking it all in, and then Vivian will come into the room and catch me from behind doing that, and she just giggles, and it's like, you look like you're at a museum, staring at your own painting, and I say, well, yeah, but that's what art's for, right? That's
yeah,
why I
exactly.
spend the money to frame it, to custom frame it, put it up on the wall. I mean, that's how I get the most value out of it. It's not even
Yeah,
financial.
exactly.
It's the joy, right?
That's the joy. You're right. I
Yeah.
mean, and, you know, yeah. I mean, what else is there, right? But to
Yeah.
enjoy the art.
That's it. And like you said, you especially, you're tired from your day job and all that. It lets you unwind.
Exactly. And as long as you buy the art that you love, right? That's the most important.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanley wants to know, do you have any friends or family that appreciate your art?
Well, actually, it's funny. My wife appreciates my Andrew Wildman art. So
Your what? Your what? Your Wildman art?
yeah, my wife. So
The Andrew Wildman stuff?
yeah,
Oh,
she really likes it.
that's interesting.
I do have a friend. He he collects comics. I've shown him a few pieces. Yeah, he appreciates it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Not too many. I mean, I have a coworker. I have a coworker at work. Sometimes I try to get her opinion. What do you think if I get this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting. Is she a comics fan, or you just figure
yeah,
out?
she's a comic. She's into comics. Toys. Well, not like pop art stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Comic Art Boston wants you to know that having one's wife appreciate your artwork is a great advantage as a collector.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that she likes all the art that I buy.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Just some of them. And sometimes I've gotten into trouble,
Okay.
But
But she seems to be supportive of you as a collector.
yeah, well, she knows that it's for me. It's a way to everyone needs a hobby, right?
Yeah.
So this is a way for me to, and as long as I'm responsible about it.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, I totally get it. He also says if we didn't get in trouble, it wouldn't be real. Yeah, I mean, listen, as long as they tolerate it, I think that's a pretty good thing.
I think that's the perfect word for it.
Yeah.
It's not that they like it. I mean, in fact, she doesn't even understand why.
Yeah, for sure.
But she's very, I'm very lucky. She accepts me for all my faults. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, sounds like a good woman to me. All right, everybody. Let us move on to show another piece of art. There's a few left. And this one is a Jim Starlin, Andy Smith, Thanos versus Hulk page. What do you got to tell us about this one? Other than, of course, there's some cool images on it.
I actually bought it from Nick Barucci, the great Nick Barucci.
Yes, I know you did. I remember.
I love Jim Starlin. I bought an illustration to Mike Berkey, but I wanted a published page. So again, I was lucky that Nick was very nice to put this up for sale, and I bought it. So
yeah.
So Nick's awesome. So.
He is, and he's stepped away. I guess he's missing all the platitudes that you're throwing his way. I guess. Oh well.
Yeah. But I mean, if you try to sell this page, you say, there's Thanos in every panel, right? So
yes, lovely shots. Yeah, and I'm a sucker for like close-ups. So that third to last panel, the bottom left-hand corner, love that.
Yeah.
Love close-ups all the time. So yeah, and he's all over the page. Plus, you get a Hulk cameo, which is important since it is the comic of Thanos versus Hulk.
Right.
So, yeah, that was a fun claim. That was a good claim.
Yeah. No, I mean.
Yeah. So very nice. Okay. Alrighty, so from here, let us go to the next page. And the next page is a Transformers Regeneration 1. Andrew Wildman, speak of the devil. Look at that. I want to say before you say anything, what really grabbed me about this piece, the reason I wanted to show it was, aside from the fact that it's got these great Optimus Prime shots, I love that Stephen Baskerville gives Wildman's line a very gritty look. There's like a gritty look to it, rather than polished smooth metal of most artists, that have been doing Transformers for the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure any Transformers collector will know there is a big difference when you look at Andrew Wildman's art without Stephen Baskerville, right?
Yeah.
In fact, some of the covers that I have are, Stephen didn't ink them, right? So you can tell a difference. There's, Stephen adds another dimension, right? He puts a lot of detail into Andrew's works, and I remember there was one issue. I read a comics when Andrew was, his first appearance as an artist, Transformers, and it was awesome. But then the next issue, Steven came in and he inked it. And it blew my mind away after that. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those cases where an inker really does make it different.
It's yeah, on this piece, because you know what the penciler's style looks like, you can see what the full difference is. In terms of,
I mean,
right?
I have the pencil piece of this as well, and I can tell you, it's much different from the ink. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Very, very cool. And by the way, is there really that title called Regeneration 1, and it has lasted over 83 issues?
Well, it's a continuation of the original series. So the original series ended
75.
75. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then when they started over, and
they decided to use the numbering.
I think 2011 or 12. I think they continued it because as you know, back in the day, Marvel went bankrupt, so they had to shut down a lot of their titles, and this is one of them. So it's unfortunate. And then so I think at the time Simon Furman wanted to kind of give it a proper ending, so he did this.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, it's very cool. It's very, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really liked it. And I know you're a that's kind of like what you got into that before comics. So I figured I got to show at least one example of Transformers, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
So I included that for sure.
Excellent. One for the Gipper, right?
There you go. One more for the Gipper. And okay, we are almost to the end of the show and tell, everybody. So from there, we're gonna go to Warlock, the Warlock Chronicles, the first page splash from the second issue by Tom Rainey and Keith Williams. Really, really cool. How long have you had this one, man?
Yeah, so this was the piece that I mentioned that I purchased off Kirk Dilbeck. Right?
Oh, this is the one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
cool. That's gonna be fun.
I mean,
nice. I like this era of this early Tom Rainey stuff. Sometimes it's not. Yeah. It's hit and miss, but there's a lot of it I find, wow, it's really cool, kind of cool. For a guy just starting out in the hobby, he was pretty damn good.
Yeah, he was my favorite artist, actually.
Oh yeah,
the whole Infinity series. Oh,
cool.
I mean, the stuff that he did for Warlock Chronicles, just amazing. I mean, I don't know why they didn't give him more work related to the Infinity, series, but he's just again.
Yeah, well, look,
he's unlucky,
They have a lot of artists, right? They got to go and do other things, and there's so many reasons why an artist may not have done more of the title that you wanted them to do. There's so many reasons. It's not always because they didn't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Tom Rainey. He's
And by the way, just to address Marcus's comment, surprised that it's not red line. I believe that is those background lines. I believe are red ink, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They are. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. It's just maybe on the screen it doesn't look quite as reddish, but that's red.
Yep, they are red, reddish. That's the right term.
Right. And Comic Art Boston, very dynamic piece. Yeah, great. Rainey's definitely a great artist.
Yeah, he's kind of underrated, So,
Yeah,
but a lot of artists are, right? So,
but you know what it is though. I think it's primarily because of the fact that he like many artists who are always very good, very solid, and never got enough of a following. It's because oftentimes the artist doesn't latch onto a title and stick to that one title for like a good long run.
Right.
They can become more, and so because that's how we associate usually artists. It's like, what's the one run they're famous for? At least one run usually.
Right.
He did that great run on this title or that title, but he didn't really have that, and so that it doesn't help him, right? Because you can't really associate the artist with a particular.
It's so competitive out there, right? There's a lot of great artists out there, and you're lucky if you get it one shot, right? So, but he's really talented, right? So,
for sure. But I think Tom. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think he's one of those guys who he just was never fast enough to be able to continue as a monthly artist for a very long time without needing a fill-in.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some commissions from him. I've seen it done right on the spot. It does take him a while, but because he's such a perfectionist, But to see him work is such a joy,
But don't forget though, you can't judge the speed whether a guy is whether an artist is fast or slow based on how they draw at conventions, because you got to keep in mind that at a convention they're also always being they're always being interrupted by fans, right? So that sort of that adds to the time. Yeah. So that's it. But okay, cool. Now, Mika, you are going to see me pop up. What? No.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No. Everything's all good. You're gonna see, Mika. You're gonna see a piece of art that Daddy owns, and I'm gonna show it on the screen right now. Okay, I'm gonna show this one. This is a Batman piece. Look at this one. It's the third peekaboo of the night. Everybody, check this out.
Wow. Let's look at the picture.
Yeah.
It's
the one posted on the wall.
Yeah. I love Lee Weeks. I love Lee Weeks. So I had to put a Lee Weeks because I saw you had it. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm putting this one in, and it reminds me. It reminds me very much of the.
Be willing to let go. Yeah.
What do you call it?
So, but I didn't imagine there's a lot of Batman fans out there, right? So.
Oh sure.
And then, so this is the piece because it's so perfect for me. It's like the perfect work of art,
Yeah.
Perfect in every respect because, I wanted a cover by Lee Weeks, number one, but I also wanted a piece of Batman.
Batman, right?
And after I got this, I told myself I don't ever need another Batman piece anymore. Or I don't even need another Lee Weeks piece anymore.
Yeah. And tell us.
One's enough for me, right? Because this is so good.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, tell us. Is this one of the framed pieces by any chance?
Yeah, this is one of the few black and white pieces.
Oh yeah. That was
good night.
Good night.
Oh, good night, Mika. Good to see you. Good to meet you.
School tomorrow.
I got school.
All right.
That is so funny.
Okay. It's like the late hour, so now we can crank up the R-rated stuff now.
That's funny. Yeah, well, we're pretty much
like I said,
almost done anyway, so don't know.
I mean, again, that was one of the pieces where I, because it was a little pricey. I didn't own it, but I put it in my photo album, and I did what you said. Try to put it there and imagine you just enjoying it, and then few months later, I bought it. But yeah, that's one
Yeah.
of those.
I can only imagine how fabulous it looks on your wall, you know?
Yeah,
And
it was.
actually, I don't have to imagine it. I believe that's one of the pieces, now that I think about it, isn't that one of the pieces where you included a picture of it in the frame in your gallery?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go check that out, everybody, with the link below in the description, man. Go check out his gallery. Michael adds pictures of the pieces as they look on the wall as well. Some of them, the ones that are framed.
I mean, black and white. There's a few pieces that I have framed. Those are one of the few ones. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not? You know, it's amazing, right? So, like I said, maybe the only other Batman piece is a piece made by Neil Adams that I want.
Okay.
But these are. I don't ever need. And honestly, I don't even need any Batman pieces anymore. To be honest, I can live with this, and I'll be satisfied for the rest. You know.
That's fantastic to hear, because a lot of collectors, as you know, we're never satisfied, right? It's always more. We need more, even though we have something great. It's more all the time, you know.
Yeah. See, that's when I think about it, like. Sometimes we have these urge because we're such a consumerist society that there's always this urge to consume more and more. But you have this law of diminishing returns, right? So if you buy something the first time, of course, you get the most joy out of it. But as you buy more and more of it, the return is kind of a little bit less, right?
The law of diminishing returns, exactly. Yeah.
And in fact, I was reading this book by Greg McKeown on essentialism, right? So where he talks about actually having less is more, believe it or not.
Well, but I've been saying that most of my life. There's an old saying that less is more.
Yeah.
Right. So there's something to that. Now, I'm not saying I practice what I preach, because I have a lot. No, but I know what it means, because I know when you do focus, when you take the time to focus more on your stuff, right? And you really start to realize, wow, like I never really got enough enjoyment out of this. We all have this tendency of looking for more art all the time. So it's just like, we look at it really quickly, then we put it away into the portfolio or something, and that's it. And then we're on to the next piece, looking for that next fix, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why you really just need a few pieces to really enjoy it, and you get the most out of it, right? But if you're buried within a whole pile of stuff, you can't really enjoy it, So in my experience, so. But anyway, so I mean, also I live in a small apartment, and so it's different circumstance,
Yeah.
But you never know. If I get a vacation home down the road, maybe. But it's yeah, you work with the circumstance.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, what's up? Good to see you, dude. The more you own, the more it owns you. Some philosopher said that. Okay. That's okay. If you're not careful, like I say, I've said this before on my show, that I think we all, those of us who own a lot, I think we all get caught up in the next piece. Yeah. Next, right? But I for the last, I don't know, 6-7 years, I've made it. I realized that. I came to realize that, and I made it a priority to, hey, let me start getting more enjoyment out of what I already have, because if I'm already going to, yes, I'm still going to keep buying stuff, but if I'm already going to keep spending more money on the new stuff and chasing after more stuff, at the very least, I've got to get the enjoyment out of the stuff I already own as well, right?
Yeah.
And so I started looking through all my portfolios, and I do it regularly now, and I have been for years now. So I at least don't feel so guilty when I'm looking for the next piece, because I do actually get a lot of enjoyment now, more than ever. Like more in the last 6-7 years, I've gotten more enjoyment out of my collection in the last 6-7 years than I have in the previous like 18 combined.
Right.
Yeah. But it took realizing that and then making an effort to do it.
Right.
Yeah. It's just so easy to get caught up in lost about, oh, put it away. Look at the next one. Get the next one. Put it away. Look at the next one. It's just you get so easy to get caught up with that, right?
Right.
Mike NSN Art. By the way, I was looking for you on CAF a couple of days ago. I don't know how you're listed. I was looking for you under NSN. I didn't find it. I don't know what's going on. Can you please email me? Let me here. Can you please email me here at RubénDaCollector@gmail.com? And I'll reply to you later tonight or tomorrow. Would really appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate it. So just so everybody knows that the Lee Weeks piece was the last piece that we have to show tonight. I do want to show, first of all, to remind everybody that 5 days from now, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, please don't forget to go back to watch the EXP, Nikki B show. Sales show / combination sales and chat show. So please do check that out. And for everybody who wants a sneak peek of next week, if you haven't gotten already the notification from YouTube, also want everybody else to know that I'm doing another Comic Art Hangout episode next week with Rick Whitelock. For those of you who he's never really been much of a socialist, being a social guy in the hobby. So this is going to be something new for him. In fact, I believe he said this will be his first time doing any sort of web chat in his life. So that should be fun. And Rick has an amazing Silver Surfer collection. That's literally all he collects. And yeah, he's just I just met him recently. He seems like a cool, laid back dude. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And he's got some cool stories about some things that happened to him in his life. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So please do tune in for that. Before we go, I want to post, first of all, Comic Art Boston's message to you, Michael, that as mentioned, you have a great collection and this program really proved it. Thanks to you and Ruben for a great show.
That means a lot to me, for Comic Art Boston to say such kind words. I'm really humbled and,
Yeah. So there you go. You've humbled him, Comic Art Boston. There you go. Guys, I see you guys calling Stanley. You don't have to, because what I was leading to say was just to say that just before we sign off, I was going to say, Stanley, what is your last question to throw out there for Makipoopoo? And I see you threw it out, but we're not gonna do it like you want him to do it. We're not gonna stretch it out. Michael's top 10 favorite artist and why? No, let's just say that Michael, why don't you tell us? Do you have
well,
2 or 3 of your favorites? Who do you sort of like the most?
Yeah, well, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I'm big into nostalgia, right? So people, like when I was a teenager, the comics that I read, like Transformers by Andrew Wildman, or Joe Jusko, because he did those awesome covers for Punisher. I like Will Sportasio.
Okay.
And
sorry, I didn't put
Chido,
Okay.
Yeah, so Lee Weeks, right? Obviously. Tom Marine.
Okay. Like Comic Art Boston says, not forgetting the Bagleys.
Yeah, so I mean,
Andrew Wildman.
Yeah, so I mean, just the easy way is if you go through my collection and you see who are the people I own. I don't really have a big extended list of artists. It's very concise,
Sure.
And that's because I try to stick to the pieces where I have really like the emotional connection. So that's why the number of artists is somewhat limited, and that's how I like to collect. So
Yeah, it is what it is. Whatever you like, and whether it's a lot or a little, as long as you like.
I like them all. So, but
No, that's totally cool. Well, listen, Makipoopoo, the infamous Makipoopoo, Michael. I really appreciate. I can't thank you enough for having agreed to do this, man. I've been wanting you to come on for a long time, and yeah, I'm so happy. Just so you guys know, Michael told me when I first asked him that he's kind of on the shy side or whatever. So, like a few other of my guests have also been, and they still said yes to me. So you can't understand how much it means to me that you still said yes, even though given that you may consider yourself more shy or introverted or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I can't say no to Ruben. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. But I really do appreciate that, man. Stanley, you are not going to get that question. He's asking now. He's trying to extend it now. He's working hard. He wants to know, what cons do you attend? He attends the New York Comic Con. There you go.
yeah, I mean, I would like to attend more, but when you have a kid, it's just, and plus I'm really busy at work. So even if I wanted to attend cons and hangouts, it's very hard to do it at this stage in my life. But down the road, I'm hoping that I'll get more opportunity. So
yeah, no, that's good. At some point, I'm sure it'll happen, right? It just circumstances, right? Little circumstances change a bit, whatever. When it's a little bit easier to have Mika sort of, when she's not so much of a responsibility or whatever, right? Like,
right.
There's all kinds of things that sort of dictate whether we can go out and do these kind of fun things, right? So I totally get it. But that's not true, Comic Art Boston. Plenty of people say no to me. Some of my best friends in this hobby have said no to me when I asked them to come and be a guest on the show. So, and exactly, including you. That's so funny. But Marcus is playing Stanley. He's playing the role of Stanley now. Can you rank those artists? It ain't gonna happen, guys. But thank you, as always, all of you, live chat crew, for being as awesome as you always are. And there you go. Thank you, Stanley. Much appreciated. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thanks to you, Michael. Again, yeah, it was so much fun. And I really appreciate it because, like I said, knowing each other, a lot of us meet through some of these different chat shows, right, and whatnot, right, for the first time. And so to finally be able to chat with you live, not just through as a member of the live chat crew, face to face, it's amazing. So thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, honestly. And West wants to also tell you, sweet collection. Thanks for dropping in again, West. Appreciate you. And Scott Wingo, what's up, dude?
Oh my God, Scott.
No, McSpidey, what do you want me to do? I don't think I noticed one in the gallery. Was there one? Oh, there was. There was one. There was, and I chose to be different. I was like, oh, no, that's like the low-hanging fruit. Everybody would automatically do that, so I chose not to. Yeah, sorry. What can I say? I hope you're not too upset about that, Scott, and you as well, Michael.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean,
there's only so much we can show.
We could always come back to it at some future date.
Yeah. Exactly. What I'd like to do at some point is, like, now that as this is only once a week, and it's been about 9 months or so. Now that I've done quite a few, like when you combine the show and tells, this is my 10th show and tell, and when you combine them with the 17 hangouts that I've done, so there's been enough people to hopefully I've built up enough of a selection of guests where what I'd like to do is ultimately start getting some of those guests to come back to do more roundtable episodes, because the roundtables are a lot of fun to have 3 other guys on screen at the same time, right? And I always love those. Those are so fun as well.
Yeah.
But it's
those are my favorite episodes.
Oh, really?
What they added.
Okay.
And you were on them,
yeah.
And when Scott Wingo was on them too.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I mean, he still does it sometimes.
So that's it. So there you go. So hopefully, maybe you can come back at some future date with other people that I've had on, and as a round table, and we do more round tables because those are so much fun. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much. Michael, can you just hang in the studio for a minute or two?
Sure.
Okay, appreciate it. I'll see you in a second, okay? Thank you again. And yeah, everybody, thank you once again. Can't thank you enough always for tuning in. Those of you watching on Rewind, as always, thank you. I forgot that. Thank you. And also, really quickly, I forgot. Wanted to say thank you to a quick shout out to my newest sub from this past week. You're the only guy whose name I could see, Eric Rancourt. So I'm not sure if you're a local Quebecer or maybe an American just with a French name. I don't know, but thank you for subscribing. Really, really appreciate you. And what do we got here? Just invite more folks in. We can go right into a round table. That's true too, Jeff. But it's hard. Like I said, it's hard. It's always hard to get three of them, three guys to agree on the same night, same time, same night, whatever, and to be able to stick around for as long as they do, whatever, Oh yeah, Gil. Hey, what's up, Gil? Gil, this is my hat. It's my own hat. It's just a DaCollector 19. 19 is that's the number I've always used for jerseys, sports jerseys. So that's the number I would have on my own personal jerseys. Yeah, and I got a couple of T-shirts made this past year with that to look like the back of a jersey with DaCollector on it and the number 19. And I got those T-shirts made. Thank you. I got them made because the intent was just in case I start going back to comic book shows, I figured I'd wear those T-shirts, and that way from far away, if there's anybody there who knows me from online, they might be able to see me from, even if my back is turned, they can see the name and they go, oh, okay, and then maybe they'll come up and say hello or whatever, So that's why I got them done. Even though I haven't really been going back to, I haven't gone to a con since I got the T-shirts made, but still, in a sense, we are a big round table of sorts in the chat as well. No, exactly, which is exactly Comic Guard Boston. That's the whole reason for the whole premise of my channel, as you guys know. Those of you who are regulars, anyways. The whole premise, what I wanted it to be like a chat for everybody, where we come in once a week and everybody. I wanted to make sure that all of you guys who come in, who I affectionately call my live chat crew, I wanted all those guys, whether you're regulars or if it's your first time, I wanted everybody to know that this is a place where you can come in, hang out, and feel like you can see immediately, like everybody's so friendly, and so hopefully it makes you less shy to join in and make comments, as John did tonight. John Stout. So thank you again, John. Lurkers, people who are first timers or people who have been watching for a while, but quietly, silently, or on Rewind. Yeah, so this is great. And it really is like a round table for all of us. And that's what I love about it. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And this is why the shows, as you know, go as long as they do. A large part of the length of the show is the interaction, making it about all of us. So there's no way we can do short length episodes if with me wanting to have all of you have your say and getting you all involved in the conversations. It's impossible. It has to be 3 hours or close to 3 hours. So there you go. There's that hoser. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, but if I was live, you would miss me texting my wife in your chat threads. It's so funny, but that's okay. Once in a while, got to have you live. Put my face on the T-shirts. No, I'm not then people will think like I'm doing it as some kind of ego trip. That is definitely not going to happen. Although it would be funny, but no, thank you. I appreciate the idea though, Marcus. And get your auto, huh? What? I didn't get that one. Sorry. You should do another show. Well, I'll have Ian back eventually. No worries about that. He's been on twice though, right? But it's good to keep getting newer faces, right? Don't want people to get tired always of the same faces. But yeah, so there you go. Thanks again, guys. As we've crossed the 3 hour, 4 minute mark. Thank you again. And please make sure you're back next week. I really think you're going to really, really enjoy my chat with here next week. Let me put it here. Ricky, the Silver Surfer collector extraordinaire. I think you're going to enjoy it, and so am I. So I'm going to leave you with this, and that's it. Everything else is taken care of. I've answered everybody's questions and comments. So thank you. Please make sure to tune into Nick's show on the EXP on Friday, and then be back here again, please. Would love to have you and see you all again, as always, on Sunday night at the usual time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Peace.